know the success of a relationship hinges on the core shared values of a couple. So check out WeThePeople.dating for the love of people and people of love. Sign up and start dating today. WeThePeople.dating. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of a partner.
The Conservative Cartel.
Because I found this story out of Texas. 6-year-old James is caught in a gender identity nightmare. Under his mom's care in Dallas, Texas, James obediently lives as a transgender girl named Luna. But given the choice, when he's with his dad, he's all boy. His sex at birth. In their divorce proceedings, the mother has charged the father with child abuse. She has sought a restraining order against James's dad and is seeking to terminate his parental rights. Let's look at the facts. James is 6. We are living in a day and time where this woman, if this judge had any effing balls, he would hold this mother accountable for child abuse.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out NeverForgottenApparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
The ship has landed.
Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. The mighty MoJo 50.
Oh, it's on today, baby. It is on today. Wow. Okay. Lots of good stuff to get to. I don't even know where to start. How about we start right here? Can we start here? Can we start here now? Or should I start somewhere else?
No, I'd start here.
I'm thinking about starting somewhere else. Should I start here?
I'd start right here.
Okay.
Good place.
Let's start with Cleveland. Cleveland, a radio station. Picture it. Cleveland, a radio station that has gone all Christmas songs. Cleveland radio station, all Christmas songs, because we are in the Christmas song season and the Christmas season, according to some.
Yeah.
Radio station, Cleveland, all Christmas songs. The radio station, 102.1 WDOK, all Christmas songs.
Isn't that spelled Doc?
It does, and ironically, it's one of the few places I was not fired from in Cleveland, because I didn't work there.
There you go. That helps.
All Christmas songs.
Yep.
They have decided now to no longer play Baby It's Cold Outside. And that's not because it's warm in Cleveland.
What? It's so offensive. I can understand exactly why they wouldn't play.
Right. That's the problem, Brad. It's so offensive. Can you enlighten us as to why some seem that it is, or believe it is offensive?
It's a rape song. The guy wants to rape her. She's trying to leave. He keeps getting her to stay. He probably roofied her drink. He's going to rape her. It's plain as the nose on your face.
And she does not want to be
She
raped.
doesn't
Is that
want to
right?
be raped.
You're sure about that?
Well, actually, no, I'm not terribly sure about that, because maybe she does want to be raped. Who knows?
Okay, because this is the claim for everybody else that or the radio station and lots of people that that it is some sort of, in our hashtag Me Too world, troubling.
Yes. Yeah. She's trying to say no. He's not allowing her to say no.
Their midday host, Desiree.
Oh, she sounds hot. Which, first, let's move on.
I'm going to need a lot of, after that, I'm going to, remember I'm from Cleveland. I worked in the media there.
And the beauty.
I'm just inhaling all of the relief factor.
I can get you some spray paint if you want to huff that.
Let me just move back. Midday host Desiree, no comments about how she looks. It wasn't really our decision, she said. It wasn't their decision. We own this station.
Right.
We run it. We're operators, but it was not our decision to ban Baby It Is Cold Outside. She said it's the decision of the listeners.
Yeah, there's that.
Because a poll was taken on the website where a majority of the listeners voted to remove it.
Okay.
You don't sound like you don't believe her.
That's only because I don't believe her.
Wow, why are you so cynical, Brad Staggs?
I've worked at many radio stations. Those polls really,
What do you mean?
They're about as
careful. The broadcasters union is going to be on you. It's like the Magician Society. Are you telling tales? Are you telling how the tricks are done?
I'm not a member of the union, so I don't have to worry about it. But I will say that let's just leave it at they're questionable. Those polls and the veracity, usefulness, and they're just questionable.
Let me help Brad out, and I'll try to say this. We got to be careful because you don't let the cat out of the bed. Again, it's like magicians. You don't want to show the secret or tell how the trick is done.
Yep.
When it comes to polls and things from the listeners, radio stations don't care what you think. They're going to present it like your vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. We've decided to pick a new name for Brad Staggs, and we put a bunch of them taking your suggestions. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. They're going to do what they want. That's just marketing. Don't tell me to say. Anyway.
Except here.
No, here it's different,
here.
completely
It's
different. We
very
actually care. We're the only one. That's what sets us aside.
Yes, it does.
She said a poll was taken on the website where a majority of the listeners voted to remove Baby It's Cold Outside. She said people might say, oh, enough with that hashtag Me Too. But if you really put that aside and listen to the lyrics,
right?
She said it's not something I would want my daughter to be in that kind of situation. The tune might be catchy, but let's maybe not promote that sort of an idea.
Man.
A lot of words, lots of
That
words.
is a lot.
Some words you didn't need even to make that point that she was trying to make. I feel like she's trying to tell me something, Brad. I feel like she's come on. Timmy fell in the well. Wait, what? Something. People might say, oh, enough with that Me Too.
Yeah.
But if you really put that aside, wait, what?
She's not really putting that aside.
You're
She's
not.
bringing it right back up.
Right. And at first it's not our decision. The listeners did it, but we kind of agree with it, which really means it really.
Yeah.
She said it's not something I would want my daughter to be in that kind of situation. I mean, it's not something I would want my daughter to be in that kind of situation.
She's obviously been drinking. The woman who wrote this.
The tune might be catchy, but let's not promote that sort of an idea.
You know what else is catchy? Venereal diseases.
Exactly, which is part of the problem here. Brad, I'm going to need you to pull up the lyrics to Baby It's Cold Outside so we can go through these to see if it really is troubling. I mean, Desiree said it's troubling. And you know who else said it's troubling? Sandra Miller. Sandra Miller from the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. They support pulling that song. Because if you pull that song, ladies and gentlemen, less people will be raped today.
Yes.
Rape will virtually go away.
Well,
there will be no rape.
You know, they've proven that by playing this song, rape goes up every time around this time of year.
It does. Every time, you know, every time you hear a bell, an angel gets his wings. Every time you hear Baby It's Cold Outside, 70 million women get raped.
Yep. Every time. And it's time
every single time you hear it.
It's time we stop it.
All right.
We need to stop.
Sandra Miller said, I think it's taking a 2010 lens on a song that was written a very long time ago. She said it really pushed the line of consent. The character in the song is saying no, and they're saying, well, does no really mean yes? And I think in 2018, what we know is consent is yes. If you get a no, it means no, and you should stop right there. Wow, so many words. I'm thinking that both Desiree and Sandra Miller get paid by the word.
It seems that way. It does seem that way. And quite frankly, the yes means yes and no means you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I have the song, actually. I have some of this from, here we go.
Your hands, they're just like ice.
My mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My
hurry?
father will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace
So
roar.
really, I'd better.
Remember this ditty?
scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Well,
hurry.
maybe just a half a drink more.
Put some records on.
See,
while I
she
talk.
stayed.
She just
stayed.
said, I'll have another half a drink. He didn't say drink this. She said, okay, I'll have half a drink more.
See, but you're just hearing the audio recording. You're not seeing the visual. Where right as he sings that, he goes, wham, right in the kisser.
Okay, well, then,
She's like, no, I don't. Oh, okay, a half a drink more. See, it's
well, and if he cut her lip or something by the alcohol will actually clean the cut.
well, and he may have just raised his hand because he's beat her so many other times.
Yep,
And she's
she
like,
"Oh,
okay,
sorry, she's
just
a beaten
stop,
dog.
stop.
You're right.
He was my
But baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in this
No
drink?
cabs to be had out there.
Hey, I mean, here he is trying to. It's bad out there. What are you driving for? The roads are horrible.
Yeah.
He's concerned with her well-being, Brad.
Yes, he is.
I wish I knew how
Your eyes are like stars
to
right
break
now.
this spell.
I'll take your hat. Your hair looks
I
swell.
ought to say no, no.
And offers her a compliment.
What woman wears a hat?
This is old. It's what it is, Brad. It's putting a women's lens on women's fashion. A 2018 lens on women's fashion for fashion that was a style a very long time ago. You know.
Mind if I move in closer?
At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my
I
pride?
really can't
Oh,
stay.
baby, don't hold out.
See
Hold on. That's the best line.
what?
At least I'm gonna say that I tried.
Yeah, she had to try.
She had to try to leave.
Right. That's
But
right.
she doesn't-
I'm not a whore.
Look,
Like my friends who would just stay. I tried not to stay.
she wants it. She's wearing a hat.
She what?
She's wearing a hat. She
No,
wants it.
she wants it.
She
Brad
wants
said.
it. She's
Hurting
wearing
my
a hat.
I
pride.
really can't
Oh,
stay.
baby, don't hold out, baby.
Oh, but
it's cold outside.
Well, at least they both admit it is cold outside.
Yes, it is.
We do have a bit of a common ground there. We've come to a bit of a consensus in that it is, in fact, cold
It's
outside.
very cold out
I think
there.
we start and we build from there, Brad.
I think it's a good idea.
All right, so I am.
Musical interlude.
Yeah.
Cold outside.
The welcome has
How
been
lucky that you dropped
so
in.
nice and warm.
Look out the window at that
Shuts
door.
the drapes.
Sister will be sister.
Gosh, your lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves up on a tropical.
See? There it is. The rape culture, Brad. All right, good for you, Cleveland radio station. Good for you. Thank golly, it's about time. I mean, what about Rudolph the serial rapist?
No kidding.
You know, shouldn't we at least pull that?
He gets by every year. I think you're right. If we're going to pull this one, we should pull that one.
Actually, we just had last week, and this has happened. This is not the first time they brought this up, baby. It's cold outside. It's not the first time they brought up Rudolph. Rudolph is also troubling as well.
What did Rudolph do exactly that makes him so
It's about
troubling?
discrimination. They discriminate against Rudolph.
Well, they do.
They do. Come on, let's not let Rudolph play in any reindeer games because he's different, Brad. You know what they're saying in that,
because of
essentially?
his nose.
Now, it's anti-LGBTQ, LMP.
Which one of the reindeer is?
All of them.
They're all homosexuals.
All of them. But all of them are afraid to come out.
Okay, and Rudolph is or isn't? All of it. Is he included in all? So they're all.
He's
everyone.
actually trans.
The red nose.
He is. He's trans.
Well, that's
No, I don't know which way it is, but they say it's about bullying because people are different. Now, you're probably saying yes, but there's vindication in the end when you realize he has special talents, and they say that's a problem as well.
How's that a problem?
Because
If he
not everybody's going to have specialist talents. After he did something for you, then you
Right.
like him. You should just accept regardless of that. And by the way, Herbie was trans.
Yeah. The dentist.
No, he identified as
He
a dentist,
did
but they wouldn't let him.
That's right.
They refused to accept that he believed he was a dentist.
Yeah.
Herbie wants to be a dentist.
That's right.
He was an elf, and elves make toys, and they wouldn't accept that, no, maybe he's not an elf inside. Everything physically, when you look at him, says elf, right? You look at him.
It does.
It says elf, Brad, and even dressed like an elf. Everybody was elf, 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 and then no, I'm a dentist.
Did he have an elf inside him?
No, he had a dentist inside him. It's a Novocaine joke in there. Just go ahead and fill it in yourself. And by the way, fill that in yourself as well. So he was trans, and they wouldn't accept that. Until, again, he helped save the day because with his dentist-type skills, he removed the bumbull's teeth.
Right.
There it is.
You know, we really deserve to die out as a species at this point.
Now, there's also something else I would like to touch on. It's a little troubling, and I can't believe this has not come up yet. Ring your bell.
I just really keep it closer to me.
Something that's come up with Rudolph. If you remember, Rudolph takes off on his own and then meets up with Herbie, who wants to be a dentist.
That's right, yeah.
And then who do they meet up with?
Oh, man, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yukon Cornelius.
Oh, that's right, the prospector guy.
Yes, he throws the pick up in the...
That's right. Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah, I
Silver and gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it Burl Ives?
Burl Ives was in that one. Yeah,
okay.
He was the snowman.
Gotcha.
Anyway, they meet Yukon Cornelius.
Right.
Who is a creepy, old, rough loner who takes in the underage deer and elf.
Are you suggesting
Yes,
that there was some
human trafficking?
My gosh, I never thought of
Human trafficking.
You know?
And where does he take them?
Doesn't he take him back to his lair?
To the island of misfit toys.
That's right. I really need to go back and watch that troubling
He takes
scene.
them to an island?
Well, they can't get off if they're on the island.
Exactly. You are, and everybody knows this. When it comes to when you're grooming and when you're trying to control people, you separate them from their friends and family.
Isolation.
You isolate them on an island, either metaphorical or literal, Brad. And what kind of island? All of us are flawed here. It's okay. We'll put up with Yukon Cornelius's crazy desires.
Well, don't make him angry. Don't make him angry.
That's it. Did you see what he did to the Bumble? So
that's right. That is.
There's a whole other thing going on here they haven't even touched yet. So I'm just saying, maybe explore that. So, Brad, in our new world, and I just put this out. I just tweeted this out. Maybe you could help us out. Social justice Xmas songs, not Christmas songs, because I mean, right there, Christmas is a problem. Hashtag social justice Xmas songs, if you've got any. I think it's time we should reevaluate all of them. Each and every one, Brad, in our new Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is in Congress, for Pete's sake. Well, she'll be inaugurated.
Yes, very soon.
When is her inauguration?
When do they do that? Yeah, I think so. Not soon enough. Let's just say
Does her inauguration come before or after her coronation?
Well, let's see. That's a good question. I don't know. Which one do you get dressed up more for?
It'd be coronation. The crowning, I think probably later.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay. So hashtag social justice Xmas songs, if you've got any. I've got a couple right off.
All right.
Man-caused white Christmas.
That's a good point. You're right.
Right?
In light of, yes.
Or man-caused blue Christmas.
Man-caused blue Christmas.
It's another color.
Oh. So just okay.
It's not a white Christmas. It could go either way.
Anything other than white.
Okay.
All right.
Away with a manger.
Yeah, yes.
It's a slight change.
That's good.
But we've got to do away with that whole manger talk in today's world, Brad.
Shouldn't
there be social justice for other non-Christians?
Yes. We need to separate this whole Christ from Christmas thing.
Welfare Wonderland.
I like that.
Something like that again. Rudolph the multicolored nose reindeer. I'm just,
That's,
I saw mommy kissing mommy. It just, by the way, that's more of a universal year-round tune. You could take that beyond Christmas.
Is she hot?
Which one?
Either one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
then
good. Yeah.
Then I'm in.
So I'm just putting it out there. Here's one I'm just kind of toying with, and I haven't fleshed this entire thing out yet. Santa Claus is coming to town. Not Santa Claus is coming down. Xanta Claus with an X.
Xanta.
Like you just put it. Give her the
Zima.
No, not what do they call themselves? Zimzer. I guess it could be anything.
That's right. Yeah, the
Santa Claus is coming to town because I don't know how Santa or Xanta. Has anyone ever asked Santa what his personal pronouns are?
No.
It might be Santa. Give it to that Zim over there. Right? I don't know.
What about that? No, you're right.
What is Z like? Z likes cookies. That's what they call it. Zay would be Mr. and Mrs. Claus, I guess, right?
Is Zay, is that the collective form of...
I'm curious. I don't know. We're right in the new world order here, Brad.
Zim and Zer and Zim. Is it Zay?
I know there are no hard and fast rules to this, except there are hard and fast rules to this. That's the we get to write all of these rules when it comes to the new social justice world, Brad. We get to write them unless somebody else tells us we're wrong.
I just miss
See how that works?
time. I do. I yearn for a simpler time.
Oh, Brad, this is going to be a good time. The future is so wonderful with this stuff. No longer will you be kept down. I mean,
What if that is my thing, being kept down?
Well, if you identify as somebody who wants to be kept down, then it's okay.
Just saying.
Unless you're keeping someone else down, also keeps them down.
Frosty, the non-labeled person of snow.
Okay, good. I like where you're at on this.
Thank you, Russ, over at MeWe. Should have known. Should have known the Mojoians, the Jackholes, Jillholes, and...
Have you asked them what their personal pronouns are? You're assuming you're lumping them all together.
True. We're going to find out.
I saw my non-gendered parent choosing to. I'm just trying to flesh this one out as we go. Choosing to do something.
You know, when the pendulum swings the other way, it's going to be hell.
All right. Hashtag social justice Xmas songs.
I'm dreaming of a minority empowered Christmas.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Josh,
nice. I like the sound of that. That's really swell.
Up on the white privileged gated community housetop.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. Yep. Thank you.
Wow. Have a holy Marxist Xmas. Nice.
I like it.
Come all ye Kavanaugh accusers.
Come all ye Kavanaugh accusers. There's an extra couple syllables, but I think
we use poetic license. It's Kavanaugh. Come all ye Kavanaugh.
Oh, come all ye Kavanaugh accusers. Accuser's still a little rough there. We'll work it out. You know what? I say it identifies as a song that actually works with too many syllables.
There it goes.
That a real song. But it just works, and that's all you have to say.
That's true. Yeah, you can use it right back at them. That's how I identify as a pig.
So that's not a stretch.
No,
I can see that.
I'm very good at it.
So, hashtag social justice Xmas songs. Get them in all across social media. Please follow at Doc Thompson Show, at Real Brad Staggs, and at MoJo 50 Radio. But at the center of this is that claim that "Baby, It's Cold Outside" is actually sexist. And in today's Me Too world, hashtag Me Too world, that we've got to be more concerned about these things. And I wonder if there's any other along those lines that would make a hashtag social justice Xmas song.
I'm still troubled by her line that she wants. Look, she says she wants a half a drink more. She's trying to break the spell. So maybe he did put something in it. He put something in her drink.
Roofied her.
She wants to say no,
but she can't because of the roofie.
But she's a slut.
No, he roofied her.
Yeah,
I want to say no.
No, she says I ought to say no.
I ought to say no, but I can't because I'm immobile.
At least
I'm unable to object physically or vocally, but I am aware that you are raping me. That's what roofies do, Brad.
Why does she want him to lend her his coat? Didn't she wear a coat?
To cover up, because as she left, he tore her clothes off, and now she doesn't have anything to wear. Exposed.
And she's worried about the people talking.
All right.
At least there'll be. See, I think she's just a slut. Which there's nothing wrong with that. If she identifies as a slut, who are you to say she's not? If she identifies as a slut.
So you got this midday host on the station in Cleveland who offered a lot of words up. I know it's important because there were a lot of words.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sandra Miller from the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. Again, very important to her because there were so many words.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell. There were lots of words.
The more words, the more important.
So let me read a couple of these quotes again, and let's try to figure them out, okay?
All right.
I think I can figure out what they're trying to get at here.
Okay.
Desiree said, "It wasn't our decision. It was a decision of the listeners."
Of course.
People might say, oh, enough with that hashtag Me Too. But if you really put aside and listen to the lyrics, it's not something I would want my daughter to be in that kind of situation. The tune might be catchy, but let's maybe not promote that sort of an idea. Okay.
All right.
So she seems like she's saying this is a bad song, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would appear so.
Sandra Miller said, I think it's taking a 2018 lens on a song that was written very long time ago. It really pushed the line of consent. The character in the song is saying no, and they're saying, well, does it really mean yes? And I think in 2018, we know is consent is yes. And if you get a no, it means no, and you should stop right there. I think I know what they're saying.
All right.
I think they're saying yes to this song. That's what I'm hearing. They're saying no,
but they really mean yes.
I think they mean yes. That's what I'm getting from what they're saying here. I think they.
I can support
Right?
you in that. Yeah.
I wish Desiree or Sandra Miller would be willing to be interviewed here, because I'd like to ask them, are you sure you really don't want to play that song? I think you'll enjoy it.
That's true.
You're saying you don't like it, but how many times have you actually heard the song? And
Right.
you've never heard me play the song.
Right.
And I think in the right, like, hey, I'll play it slow.
Listen.
I'll play it slow.
Good. And I'll repeat some lines over until you get them.
Right, exactly. Trust me. I'm just going to put it on. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Let me put this song on. You're going to have
Just for a
another
second.
drink.
Right.
Have another. You'll like it much better when you have a drink. I mean, I've many times heard songs, and I'm like, much better when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. It's
Am I right? Do you think I got
no,
that one?
I like
nailed
that.
it?
I think.
That was a bell
I
attempt.
couldn't find the bell fast enough on that one.
Wow. All right, get your comments in via social media. Did you see George H.W. Bush passed away over the weekend?
And it kind of went by with just
Well, it happened. The announcement I saw was late Saturday night. So by the time I got up Sunday, I was like, oh, wait.
But he died on Friday, did he not?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, it was Friday night. Excuse me,
Yeah,
Friday
okay,
night. But
yeah,
by the
he
time
died-
I got up Saturday, the whole thing was weird.
It was very strange, and it just kind of passed.
Well, the good news
without
is
much
when he
family.
died, it didn't stop his accusers of #MeToo from making sure they reminded people of that.
Oh,
We got those details coming up next as your Daily Mojo rolls on for this Monday.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me mojo or give me death. Mojo 50.
I'm Mike Opelka from PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill. One of the greatest things about America is how we transition power in this country. And as we say goodbye to President George H.W. Bush, we remember the transition of power from his presidency to that of Bill Clinton. In the words of George H.W. Bush, read by Bill Clinton, here's the message left for the incoming president by the outgoing president.
Dear Bill, when I walked into this office just now, I felt the same sense of wonder and respect I felt 4 years ago. I know you will feel that too. I wish you great happiness here. I never felt the loneliness some presidents have described. There will be very tough times, made even more difficult by criticism you may not think is fair. I'm not a very good one to give advice, but just don't let the critics discourage you or push you off course. You will be our president when you read this note. I wish you well. I wish your family well. Your success now is our country's success. I'm rooting hard for you. Good luck.
2 words come to mind: classy and presidential. And yet, George Herbert Walker Bush was a real guy. He was a real man who loved his country, volunteered to serve in World War II, and maybe, just maybe, the last president with military service. I hope not, but he will be missed. Rest in peace, George Herbert Walker Bush, and thank you, sir. Testudo, my friend.
Mike Opelka's 2-minute drill is powered by MoJoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MoJoWildRice.com. MoJoWildRice.com. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs of Mojo 50. Back to your communiques in just a second. So we have postponed our playing of the Right On game, not this Thursday. It's a week from Thursday now, right? Is that what we're doing?
Is that when we're doing it?
A week from Thursday.
It hadn't been discussed, but I think that's when we're going to do it. Yeah.
All right, because we're going to get together. It's a really cool game. We thought we could have a lot of fun. We all wanted to get together and get
Let's
an
be
excuse
honest.
to drink.
Our agents are all collectively talking to each other to work out some deal.
Matt Block all of a sudden wussed out and said he had something else to do.
Well, yeah. That's the
Yeah, that's the public story. Our agents are all arguing behind closed doors over who's going to get paid.
That's the
more to do it.
13th, by the way, the evening of the 13th.
If all goes well, we're just going to get drunk. I mean, we're going to play this game, and we'll do it
Right. Yeah.
as a special broadcast. Anyway, what is the Right On game?
The Right On game is a series of cards that you get, and once you read the rules, right here,
Yes.
the object of the game is to expose the idiocy and bias of the liberal left and their complicit media counterparts, and have fun doing it.
So
It is
many
fun.
words. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, you get these different cards. I mean, I don't want to let every cat out of the bag before we actually play the game on the air while drunked up and consuming cigars. Let's just say it is a great game to give as a gift at Christmas time. And you get it for what? 25 bucks. Is there a promo code?
Yes, MoJo 10.
MoJo 10 to get how much off?
10%.
Okay, just making sure. But the idea is you can actually have you can drink while you play this game, and that's really what makes any game good, is being able to consume alcohol and to get drunked up, because then you just never know what's going to happen and who's going to want to try to leave, and then you convince them to stay and play the game, and you can soon be accused of rape.
Yep.
While playing Right On, because mocking the left feels so right. The bottom line is this: these cards. I'm looking forward to playing. On Wall Street, the lazy, non-working degenerates who were protesting capitalism shuddered in disgust from your well-kept appearance and freshly laundered clothes. You'll find out exactly what that means when you...
I need to correct that, Brad. It is MoJo 50 for 10% off. MoJo 50 for 10% off the Right On game.
And see, this is why I never ask Ron anything.
Oh, my God.
He does this just
This is
to
how
screw with
how we know who really pays attention to the broadcast.
Well, okay, so who?
What, those who have to go
which
research
one?
it, or
Yes,
those who
that
didn't know
you
what
never
it was?
really actually know what the promo codes and websites are. You have to actually do a little bit of the work yourself here. We'll give you 10% off, but you're going to have to work it a bit.
Just start entering stuff. That's all you have to do. The beauty of this game is it's a lot of fun, and at least that's what it says right here. It's a lot of fun. I can tell you that after drinking, a lot of things are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the website, let's see, you go to
RightOnGame.com. RightOnGame.com. Promo code MoJo50 to get 10% off at RightOnGame.com. Get one for yourself. Get one as gift for gifts. Get one to play for the holidays. You're going to want probably an extra one to play because some of these cards will likely be destroyed by
Or
a
stolen.
progressive loved one as you bust this game out and they attack you. The loving, caring, progressive relative of yours, when they stab you with a broken wine glass.
And this,
know.
okay, so that's what you do when everybody comes over. You suggest play. You don't tell them what the game is.
Hey, I got a new game. It's called Right On. You don't stress the right. Right On game.
It's the Right On game.
Right.
And then start playing it and watch their faces.
They'll think it's a 70s retro thing. Right On.
Oh, that could be. And make sure before you start playing that you have your camera
Video,
set up.
make sure it's
because
recording.
this will be gold after Christmas. We should, we should give a prize for the best video.
That'd be awesome. RightOnGame.com. Check it out today. So, yeah, George H.W. Bush passed away over the weekend, and it was odd. Not so much the death. I mean, the guy was old, but the circumstances surrounding it. And, man, when I saw... all right, we're going to take this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Much like when Ted Kennedy passed away, or John McCain passed away, or any other political figure, left or right, when they pass away, I became very frustrated years ago when people would pass away. If they were in office, it didn't matter whether or not they were good guy, bad guy, or whatever.
Right.
Most of the time, people are like, oh, so-and-so passed away. They could be the biggest dirtbag. When Nixon passed away, they still were like, well, Nixon.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Because we say, don't speak ill of the dead. That's fine. You don't have to speak bad of the dead, but do we have to pretend? Do we have to lie about the dead? Sorry, I'm not playing that game anymore. And this became frustrating when people would automatically say wonderful things about it. Cousin Jim is gone. Cousin Jim. So young for Cousin Jim to be gone. He's such a good guy, that serial pedophilia aside. He was such a good guy.
If you just look past that, he had a good heart.
His human trafficking years ended weeks ago. Such a good man.
He had actually turned over a new leaf.
It was marijuana.
Yes, but it was still a new
Still, it was a
leaf.
new leaf.
It was a new leaf.
It didn't matter what. It just people cannot now. So, but the other side was when it becomes political, like it was this weekend for a lot, and they start bringing up during George H.W. Bush's death coverage within hours all of the questions anybody would have on the left about him, or the claims of sexual harassment now. Because then it's like, okay, we're going to use this to get you.
Yeah.
How about this? How about, are you ready? This is crazy. This is nuts, I know. How about we're honest?
Oh, gosh.
Tempered with basic human decency.
Man, you are on.
I know.
You're on thin ice.
I know.
You just
honest with basic human decency.
You said that without even.
You're
going
to have
legal.
media types on the right today. Lots of them will come out because I mean we're first up here. You know, we're mornings on Monday. So throughout the day, I'm sure there'll be people that'll be broadcasting after us all across the media spectrum, and they will mention this story, and they will, if they're on the right, go, how dare they say this stuff about George H.W. Bush, the staunchest conservatives out there will blast the media. Meanwhile, George H.W. Bush nor George W. Bush were actually conservative. And both of them did a lot of bad for the conservative movement. George H.W. Bush absolutely was a career politician.
Oh, yeah.
George W. Bush, a little less of the career politician, but that's really where he made his mark. Both of them got filthy, stinking rich doing that while standing on other people. That's the truth. Now, you could say some good about them. Sure, they absolutely did some good, certainly by comparison to Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. You could say specific examples of things they did that were right. Good, I'll give you that. But when you add it up for a conservative, they were at best. That's the best you could say, and quite often bad. Now, that's not me speaking bad of the dead. It's called the truth. What I'm not going to do is show up at his funeral going, let me tell you the truth about George H.W. Bush. First of all, I'm not invited.
Oh, you didn't get an invitation?
I did not.
Oh, you can be my plus
I wouldn't. Well, I was going to say I wouldn't go. No, I would go just for the experience because I'd be able to tell people about it. If not for that, if his funeral was, to paraphrase my grandfather, when Gerald Ford was in a parade in Elkins, West Virginia in the 70s when I went there. And I said, hey, you going to go up and see the president? And he goes, well, if he passes by the trailer here, I may turn my head to look.
But otherwise,
if his funeral was held in our lobby, I'd probably look as I walked out.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would go to tell the story. But it's time and place like jokes. It's time and place and intent.
Yes.
So if you're talking about a funeral, somebody good, bad, or other, let's be honest with some basic human decency. There are people that love and adore George H.W. Bush. Some of them in his family, some of them have never met him. They met the character, the man, the president. Love him, and good for you people. And guess what? Same thing with the Barack Obama. The guy dies, if he dies, there are going to be people who are devastated because they believe, you know, it's beyond the man or the person. It's this idea of them, whether it's accurate or not. So maybe take that into consideration. Basic human decency. So if people are that upset, especially family members, maybe you don't tell this stuff at the funeral and you just move on.
That's smart.
Maybe you don't say anything. Oh, okay, great. But I'm not going to pretend that these things didn't happen.
Right.
I'm not going to pretend that they didn't do some bad.
Somewhere along the line, common decency has been lost.
You know what this is? This is the statues. These are the Confederate War statues.
Right. Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
In other words, be honest about them.
But time and place. It's also it's context. It's understanding who your audience is. It's really context is the way to say it.
Right.
Did they do certain things? Yes. Were they heroes to some? Absolutely. Was it just about those other, just about slavery? No, primarily, yes. Is it our history? Absolutely. If you remove the statues, do you remove the bad that happened with it? No. Should you learn from history? Yes, so don't get rid of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is the reason why I don't think the statue should be removed. I'm okay with context, as long as the context isn't written in such a way to just be jackasses on the left. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't like, here's a statue of this guy, and now we're making sure to get our progressive licks in.
Well, and it's like you've said before. In every life, there's some good that's done, and there are some bad.
In most lives, aside from mine, which is all good.
It's all good. Yes.
Every other life, yes.
Right. And you have people like Charles Manson, who
maybe one time he helped an old lady carry her groceries in.
Absolutely. Well, he never killed anybody.
That is true.
He never killed anybody
that we know of.
Right.
That we know.
That's true. That we know of. So I mean, everybody has a good and a bad side.
And he was one hell of a ballroom dancer.
Wasn't he, though?
He really was.
That one movie he did where it was amazing to watch. For those of you who saw it, you know what I'm saying.
It's funny how we do that, though. We'll take somebody who has done an amazing amount of good. By almost every standard and report you've ever seen, the person has done good.
Right.
And yet we find out some bad about them, especially if it's in the political world or a political setting. And what happens? Melt down that evil person. Wait a minute. They did all this good. Look at this one thing they did that really wasn't that bad. Meanwhile, you take somebody like a serial killer.
Yeah.
And the left goes, but it wasn't his fault. What? He killed and ate people. But it wasn't his fault. He was really hungry.
He was. And he was addicted to painkillers.
He was addicted to them. Wasn't his fault. That's the reason I say that cycle the left does.
Yeah.
They take somebody that is a bad person and they say it's not their fault.
Right.
It's not their fault. Well, you don't know how they were raised. And you know what? Which is true. I'm going to give you that. I mean, that people have things. It's not like, again, right before you're born, God doesn't give you, that we know of, conscious thought and say, okay, hey, you ready for this, Bradley J. Staggs soul? You ready? You're about to be born. But before you do, I always talk to every soul and I say, hey, what do you want to be? Do you want to be an adored president who saves countless people and is loved and admired and lives a long, healthy, wealthy life?
Right.
Or do you want to be a serial killer that eats people and is despised?
How much time do I have to think about it?
Just only a couple minutes. You got to come up with this.
See,
do you want to be homeless and wonder where your next meal's coming from, or do you want to be the CEO? The point is, nobody, I don't think anybody would choose to be any of these horrible things. So you can say about anybody, Yes, put it in context that often there is more to the story than just a person does bad. I gotcha. But you can't take the responsibility of what they did away from them. But they want to do that. These people, they say, you don't know the whole story. It's not their fault.
Right.
So they excuse away the people who have done bad. Then they take people that are victims of something horrible. And they, because they made the people that have done bad victims.
Sure.
They've said,
you
did something horrible.
Victims
It's not
of the
your fault.
system,
You're a victim. Right. Then they take actual victims of something, somebody who's just walking down the street, mind their own business and get mugged, or somebody who is preyed upon by a company, whatever.
Right.
And they say, you're not a victim. In fact, they'll tell them that. No, you're not a victim.
Right.
You're strong. You're powerful.
Show them how powerful
I know I survived it, but I was victimized. No, you're brave. You're a hero. Wait, what?
You're very brave. Very brave.
No, I didn't save somebody else. I didn't do anything heroic. I didn't step in front of the bullet to stop it from hitting a friend. I survived being a victim.
Right.
Yes, that makes you a hero. No, it makes me a victim. What's horrible about that is you're taking the responsibility off of the people who victimized them, and you're saying you're a hero for surviving. What about the people who didn't survive? Brad is a hero. He battled cancer and survived. So you're saying that everybody that didn't survive cancer is not a hero?
That's a good question.
And what do you mean by survived? I've mugged, but I have PTSD for the rest of my life. So if you have PTSD and you break down and you need to talk to somebody or get a drug, you're not a hero then.
Right.
You're not a hero like the other people who survived. Are you out of your minds?
It does get complicated.
Somebody is victimized by somebody or something. That's a problem, and we need to do everything we can to make the wrong right. So that's it. They take people who've done bad and make them into victims. They take victims and make them into heroes. And what do we do with heroes to complete the cycle?
Oh, we have to tear them back down.
We got to tear them down into horrible people.
Yep.
So you say, oh my gosh, Bradley J. Staggs, you will not believe what he did today. He's on the subway, and he throws himself in front of the train in order to stop it because it was about to run over a squirrel, a little baby squirrel. Right?
Yeah.
You cut your leg off.
I'm a giver.
You did this just to save one life. You're willing to walk around without a leg now.
All life is precious, and if I can save the life of just one of God's little creatures, yeah.
We have a report that you've only taken a penny your entire life. You've never left a penny. Every day, and you go to the little supermarket. Every time you take pennies, you're always sure you've never once left
a penny had I had a penny to leave.
You know, over the years, you've taken 14 pennies. You've never left one penny. You take a penny or leave a penny, but at some point, you're not going to leave a penny.
I've always wanted to leave a penny.
You know what you are? You got to go to prison.
I think that's a little drastic.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
People who have done primarily good their entire life, even a little bit of bad, they've got to find a way. The progressive media can never report. There's got to be an angle to change the story that fits into it, and this is what they do.
Yeah.
So, George H.W. Bush, the man was a progressive. The man he signed the Americans with Disabilities Act, among other things. You said, oh, that's so nice and wonderful, until you realize the big government control and how much damage, how many loopholes there are, how government can control you. It's not that I want people that are handicapped to not be able to get into a building or have certain rights. Of course I do. But they would have had those anyways. Let the free market run. That's just one of the many progressive things that he signed and supported. He and his family support illegals getting amnesty. They all do. They are progressives. This is it. But grand scheme of things, he was better than Obama. He served his country, World War II.
Yes, he did.
Good.
Yeah, he did.
Good. That's great. That's honest. That's the truth. There it is. And I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for anybody who loses somebody they love. It was a touching story, the way I heard his final moments went down, a phone call with his son and so on.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
And his one big mistake, at least in the public's eye, was read my lips. No new taxes.
He lied.
Yeah.
That's not the entire story, but
that is what people remember as the turning point, as his downfall, as the reason that Bill Clinton got elected.
You know the reason you're not hearing, and you've seen some people on the left attack him in the media, and that's the other claim today. How dare you attack him? And some of them have. You know what's not worse? I mean, what if this was Trump?
Yeah.
Would the news stories be as nice as they are? I mean, time is a factor.
Yeah. I was going to say, and we'll find out within the next 20 years.
Because the left, when you ask them to rate presidents, and you go, all right, go, rate Carter, rate Reagan, Bush, right? You go down the list. You rate Reagan, horrible. Horrible guy, horrible president. Look at all the bad he did.
Right.
And you go, rate Obama. Oh, I mean, it's, they can't control themselves.
Right.
Love him. Carter, great president. He's just, they treated him so badly. It's all those horrible things, not his fault.
He had a good heart.
When you ask him to rate the Republican, George H.W. Bush, they go, meh, not bad. I like some. You know what? He was better than a lot of those. He was the last good Republican I've seen. You know what that means? He was progressive in what he did. That's the truth. Bradley J. Staggs, how goes the diet? I'm tempting you here. I brought you a big bag of caramel M&Ms here.
You've been dipping them into those as well.
This is my challenge to see how you're doing.
All I can tell you is, actually, I got on the scale yesterday. I'm down totally since, was it May?
Has it stopped making a full revolution when you get on?
It has. Well, what it's done is it stopped smoking, the little spit, and it's not
when
doing it
When you get on,
anymore.
it doesn't go, ugh.
30 pounds.
Nicely
30
done.
pounds since I think May.
Awesome.
Yeah. So look. Listen.
See, this got to be frustrating for you because you were not somebody fat growing up, right? You were always thin.
No, I wasn't always thin. That was just it. I have yo-yoed. My entire life, and that's always a problem until you make a lifestyle change, until you do something to basically reduce the amount of calories you're taking in. It's about nutrition. It's not about the exercise, but that's where Riduzone comes in. If you need that little extra kick, if you're ready to lose weight, but you need something to help get you going, to get your metabolism boosted a little bit, to make you not want to overeat, that's where Riduzone comes in. And it's the OEA molecule. I mean,
OEA.
Exactly. And it stands for
oleoxydoxine, which is something that's natural. It's found in your body. It's found in the Mediterranean diet.
Yes, it is.
And it's in concentrated amounts been proven to show that you will eat less because you'll feel fuller, and you will also have your metabolism boosted.
And you'll be able to speak Mediterranean. And that's the amazing thing. After taking it for about a month, you'll be able to speak Mediterranean. But there's no magic bullet. Nothing that you ever can put in you is, let me rephrase that. Nothing that as a supplement that you take is ever going to make the weight just disappear without you having your brain in the right place. When you're ready to lose weight, when you're ready to make the change, when you're ready to commit to it, use Riduzone as your secret tool.
The website, riduzone.com. Riduzone.com, which just reminded me when you said that. There was a segment I wanted to do on the program, and I just can't. I thought about it all day yesterday. I'm like, how do I make this work?
How bad is this?
Every year they have it. I can't remember what they call it, but it's the failed writing awards. I don't know what they call them, but so in for people who write fiction, like novels and stuff,
right,
they'll give you the most tortured passages.
Oh yeah,
where it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like the symbolism is a fail, what they try to compare.
Yes.
Or the sentence is just structured wrong, just the worst ones. Well, they have one every year that they put out, and I don't know who puts it out, but for erotica. And it is so wonderfully awful where people trying to write erotica. And man, they overthink it. I know at some point you're like, I've used that phrase. It's just how it is.
Right.
Erotica, you're going to use, except you're going to use the same phrases and scenarios over and over.
Yeah.
You run out of new things to stick where there are things to have stuck, right? You just, come on, or comparisons. All right. Brad, look up in the thesaurus, turgid.
Turgid.
How many words mean the same thing as turgid? Because eventually I'm going to have to repeat. There's not an unlimited number of words.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And who uses turgid anymore?
Except for that, that's pretty much it.
Except turgid anymore. Does it mean bombastic? Turgid actually, does it mean bombastic?
I've gotten it wrong.
Tumescent.
Look up.
Distended. Distended. Swollen.
That may seem. Distended seems like you got something wrong going on there. And then he took his distended. Whoa! What's wrong with that?
Let's call it bloated.
You should go to the doctor and have that checked out, my friend.
That looks awful bloated. Or are you just happy to see
wanted
me?
to do it, but I'll send them to you. Maybe I'll post that later. So we got to find a way to use that because it is so wonderfully horrible.
Orotund.
Over the weekend, there was an incident. Well, there was almost a bigger incident how was the weekend, by the way? Great. Saturday night, the wife and I went out to the old coffee shop to do a little bit of work.
I told you wouldn't believe me anyway.
This has been throughout our relationship. My wife and I just work a lot. I keep telling myself someday it's going to pay off. And Brad tells me it will, and it pays off with death. That's your reward,
yes,
right?
Does. Yes. Death is the quiet respite at the end of life.
We think the reward is money. It's not.
No, it's death.
It's death. That's the thing. It's very peaceful the way
That's what I'm told.
understand it. So we just work a lot. And over the past year, we've decided to take our incredibly busy schedule, that by most people's standards are like, damn, you guys are busy. And just double or triple that.
Good for you.
I started a company. She started a company. It's just nuts. We had another child. It never stops.
No, it really doesn't.
So we got a couple of moments away, and it's like, all right, hey, you want to go on a date to the coffee shop and not talk while we drink legal stimulants so we can type really, really fast to get more stuff done? That's pretty much our relationship.
You guys have really, that's romantic.
I'm not. That's pretty much it. And every so often, hey, you getting hungry? I'm going to go get some sugar.
And by hungry, you mean hungry.
Sugar. By sugar, I mean
sugar.
Yeah. So we're sitting there in little leather type chairs next to one another, and there's two leather type chairs across from us. We go to this one coffee shop because it's open later than the others, and there's rarely anybody in there. And there's not a lot of room between the little chairs there. She and I are there. We're just working.
You had to sit close.
And the chairs are open across from us.
Right.
And a couple of women decide they're going to sit there. And it takes them about, 5 minutes to sit down because they were, fat. Huge. Man, nothing wrong with that. Fine, that's who you are. Great.
Yeah.
No respect that their fatness is causing us to be displaced.
That happens a lot. I mean,
although we have unpacked with all of our supplies and computers and whatnot, we are well within our area. What do you call
personal
that?
Space.
Personal space. These women had taken their personal space, the personal space behind them, oozing in our, but okay, we ignore them. And we're sitting there, and I'm trying to ignore them. Okay, it's like I don't have time to listen to you. They have that voice.
Oh,
that
so
just
everyone
cuts
can hear.
through everything. Even when they talk quiet, it just.
Oh, that's so annoying.
And I can see my wife just she's trying to ignore, and then one of them gets on the phone, and it's practically Edie McClure on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The ones with the ambrosia.
Yeah.
Gobble. And it's just cutting through. And in the middle of it, she says, "Yeah, we saw It's a Wonderful Life." And I was like, oh, there must be a plan I'm trying to ignore, whatever. Yeah, went to the show, went to the theater. That's how she says it, and then she goes like this. She goes, I never realized how much Potter is like Trump.
Oh, God.
The bad guy, Potter.
Wow, yeah.
In It's a Wonderful Life. The villain in It's a Wonderful Life. And she didn't even say how much Trump is like Potter.
Right.
She said how much Potter is like Trump. And I was like, Brad, I always bite my tongue in those, but part of me was like, I just want to cut. And I saw my wife look over, she just starts texting me, goes, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill them. More in a moment.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. George H.W. Bush returns to Washington today for the final time.
The former president's remains will travel here from his beloved Houston, where Barbara Kenney was among those remembering him at the church George H.W. and Barbara Bush attended.
Just a very caring man who was always willing to help others.
His body will lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda starting this evening, where the public's invited to celebrate his life.
A life of honor, a life of honesty.
Colin Powell, who was his top military advisor, telling ABC's This Week President Bush was a patriot in war and peace. The 41st president's remains will travel here on a plane most often known as Air Force One. Today it's called Special Air Mission 41. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Global financial markets rattled by the U.S.-China trade dispute are soaring now that the two economic superpowers have called a truce in their tariff war. President Trump saying that Beijing has agreed to reduce its 40% tariffs on vehicles imported from the U.S.
The trade war has been put on hold, but now both sides have just 90 days to negotiate on substantial issues on which they have huge differences. China's foreign ministry insisted both presidents instructed their economic teams to work toward removing all tariffs. but it didn't say if that was a plan with specifics or merely a general desire.
That's BBC's Robin Brandt. More violent protests rocked Paris over the weekend. More than 400 people arrested during France's worst urban rioting in years. Dozens of vehicles were torched. The protest began last month with motorists outraged over a hike in fuel taxes. And on Wall Street this morning, stock futures are sharply higher. Dow futures up 497 points. NASDAQ futures 171 points higher. S&P futures up 48. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American made and serve those who serve us, our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com, use promo code DOC, and get 15% off your purchase. That's neverforgottenapparel.com.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Around 1790, the infamous Thomas Paine wrote his Age of Reason, attacking religion and Christianity. Interestingly, one of the strongest defenders against Paine's attack was Benjamin Franklin. In fact, he stiffly rebuked Paine and told him, "He that spits in the wind spits in his own face." Do you imagine any good would be done by this attack against religion? Think how great a portion of mankind consists of youth who have need of the motives of religion to restrain them from vice, to support their virtue. I would advise you not to attempt unchaining the tiger, but to burn this piece before it is seen by any other person. If men are so wicked with religion, what would they be if without it? Benjamin Franklin believed that the practice of religion was one of the greatest assets of American society.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact Wall Builders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Ship has landed.
All right, got your headlines coming up. By the way, get your communiques in if you would. Hashtag what I learned today. And hashtag social justice Xmas songs. By the way, we got to share some regular hashtag what I learned today because on Friday you didn't share many of them and people were pretty upset because you were doing the other one.
And I really have to place responsibility where it's due, and it's Doc's fault.
Okay, so fine.
Just so you know.
I take full responsibility for Brad screwing up. So could you share some hashtag what I learned today? Maybe some of those. Just, is that a possibility? Could you actually, I don't know, like do your job, something like that?
Well, why start now? Why start now? Stinky says, darn it, what happened in the coffee shop? So he wants you to continue that.
Okay, so
see, and then just for the record, I was just cut off, so now I cannot read any more of them. So
let's read another one, then I'll get to it. Hashtag what I learned today.
Would you, World of Spots?
And would you read one from James in Alabama so he'll shut the hell up about you not reading the tweets? I don't know if he's tweeted that this morning. I just saw him comment once on Friday. So
would you say these women were dunk, as your wife puts it, or was this dunk damn? Damn!
It's dunk. Yeah, I can't even do it properly. Dunk. Yeah, I can't make
swallow. You have to swallow it that way.
Dunk. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's Korean for fat, basically, which it really sucks because I want to at times comment. Although I can't speak Korean, I know a handful of words, enough that my wife can make a point about certain things.
Right. It's code.
Or for example, I was at the Korean grocery store Friday on my way home buying some stuff, and this older woman who always runs the checkout there, a very nice lady. Right. She was wearing a ring and watch set that matched.
Right.
It was very, very nice. And so I wanted to say it was pretty. I know how to say beautiful. Yepuda. Yepuda.
You ended up calling her a fat rhinoceros, didn't you?
I did. And she smiled and she thanked me because she apparently likes rhinoceri. But So, I mean, I know a handful of words, but I can't say someone's fat because if I'm standing behind somebody fat and I just go dunk dunk,
right,
they know, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
you'd think.
It's not like you're thinking of saying something positive.
Try pig Latin. Just
They're not going to
They never get that one.
No,
They never get that
So
one.
yeah, it's there. Oh, so anyways, we're at the coffee shop, and my wife says to me right off, as soon as they're making their way in, she texts me something, and she's like, the women are, blah, blah. These are the type of women I hate. Now, my wife and I have that line back and forth. It's usually to women, about women, a little about men.
Right.
She'll say to me, that's the type of woman you hate. Or, hey, I got this new coworker. She's real nice. Oh, yeah, what's she like? She's the type of woman you hate. Or that type. And I know, and it's not the same thing. For me, it's the put upon, feminazi, over emotional. Oh, my gosh. It's just so taxing.
You have to watch everything you say because,
Right. And, yeah, so we have a little overlap in it. My wife's is a little bit of that, but more of the trashy and put upon. A little of the trailer parky. You know what I'm saying? Put upon,
Trashy
but
and put upon.
Yeah.
I got you.
The victims.
Right.
I'm in the trailer park, but I'm a victim. A little more of that. Mine is a little more of the feminazi victim. So,
right.
DoJo puts that on there. And trying not to listen. And the Trump thing. And I was like, I just got to comment. Not even to defend him. I got to do battle here. I couldn't believe my reaction. I was instantly triggered.
Well,
it's just so stupid.
And it's just become so over the top, lopsided one way that you cannot say anything. I mean, if you were to say that President Trump sure is a nice guy or whatever, they'd be all over. They wouldn't think twice about jumping your crap for saying that. But they feel like they can stand there and say anything they want that dishes or
this
is the president.
I just want some context with all this. A little rebut in everything. Anyway. And what these women had was,
I was going to say,
they had a little rebut. So we're sitting there and back and forth. The women keep blah, blah, blah. And the wife back and forth. Just drive me up the wall. When she said that about Trump, and again, it was, we just watched It's a Wonderful Life at the theater. Trying to think mock, the theater crowd.
Right.
And I never realized how much Potter is like Trump, which is backwards, but okay. And I was like, oh, I got it. And I can't. And I wasn't about to say anything, but more triggered. And my wife texts me and goes, don't. Don't. Well, and the reason, she normally wouldn't care. Right. But again, in our community, she's on the TV there. And she's like, we can't. And I'm like, I know. And she's like,
is there a chance they were doing that because they recognized her?
No, they weren't that bright. You could tell.
So,
and
all right.
Yeah, but don't. And I'm like, I know. I'm just don't do it.
Although it would be fun just to ask them. I couldn't help but overhearing you because you were speaking at an incredibly rudely loud level.
In fact, the people 3 towns over. That's right.
And just ask him, what do you mean?
You mean successful businessman?
I'm assuming
in black and white.
Right.
What is it?
I'm assuming you wanted me to overhear you because you were speaking in a tone and at a volume which I couldn't hear myself think. So please explain.
In the end, I finally, after a few more minutes, I was just like, hey, you ready to go? We're just going to call this one an early night because I cannot take them.
You let them ruin date night.
No, I just got out of there. I didn't say I ruined it. We just went home and worked.
And by work, you mean?
Perhaps we just move along.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the, but this is what's out there. This people comparing Potter, the villain in It's a Wonderful Life, to Trump. And she, in her little pea brain, actually believes this. And why? Because she's stupid, and this is what the media has pushed on us, right? Well, we can't do that yet. I got to remind you about Tar River Arms. TarRiverArms.com. Are they still around? They're still doing business.
They're still there. They're still there at TarRiverArms.com.
TarRiverArms.com. They have revolutionized the way that you buy firearms online. Nobody else is doing what they're doing across the board. Number 1, high-resolution photos so you can actually see a close-up of the gun. Number 2, 3D imaging, so you can spin it around and look at it from all different angles. Right?
You know, that is important in a lot of things in life.
That is right. And also, when you buy the gun, it has to be shipped to your local FFL for them to take possession, to give it to you. They handle, in most cases, all of the transfer fees, and they'll pay for shipping in most of the cases, all the shipping as well. There are a couple of exceptions when you're buying some of the more expensive guns and you get into some other things or whatever, but almost all of it, they take care of it. It's at tarriverarms.com. And one of the best things, it's cheap. It's far less expensive than other websites. tarriverarms.com.
I'm still looking at this H&K. This semi-automatic pistol. It's that 9mm that they were talking about last week.
Is that classified as a pistol? I guess it is, not a rifle. Yeah,
that's a pistol. It's just and see, okay, what you just did is that's what the left does.
I know.
It looks so scary.
It's not even scary. It's
badass is what it looks.
Well, it's got that magazine.
Yes,
the
it
big
does.
magazine. So it looks more like.
Thank you. I didn't know
couldn't help but notice your big magazine. Yeah, you're right. It is.
It's a 30-round magazine. It is it's a 9mm Luger. That's the ammo that it takes. It is just a badass gun, and you're going to save $300. Go to tarriverarms.com and just in the search box type SP5K, and take a look at this thing. If you're in the market for a gun and you want to save some money, it's tarriverarms.com.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
Yeah, profound, we'll see. TarRiverArms.com brings you this portion of the headlines. A California wildfire update. By the way, the count of the missing in the campfire down to 25 from 3,100. So luckily they found a lot of the people.
Wait a minute. The initial count was 3,100.
3,100 missing initially.
Okay.
They're down to 25.
I got to call BS on this.
Well, these were people that they couldn't locate. They didn't know where they were. And it's understandable. We expect in this digital society to be able to find anybody, anywhere, anytime.
All right. I'm going to give you, yes, there's going to be confusion in that. But for days afterwards, they were like thousands of people missing, and it's down to 25.
They've located. That's good news.
No, that is great news. I'm calling BS on the fact that the media reported this in a sensational matter, in a sensational way initially. Right?
That's why they call it news.
25 people are they dead? Is that what the death or just unaccounted
well, they're
for?
Just unaccounted for at this point.
Do we know what the death toll was? Was it hundreds?
The death toll was up there. What's it, 80? No, I don't know if it was hundreds.
Okay, I'm just saying they sensationalized this because it's the Hollywood community.
88. Still 88.
Still huge. The Hollywood community, and also fires and global climate change and all that stuff. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, the good news is it's down to 25. Moving on to even more profundity. An accused pervert gets off in a subway masturbation case after a large penis defense.
I'm sorry, could you read that headline again?
This is
the headline?
This is the headline. Accused perv gets off in subway masturbation case after large penis defense.
Okay, there's so many. Do we know who is this headline from?
This is from the Post, I believe.
The New York Post?
The New York Daily News, rather. Yes.
Yeah, they knew what they were writing.
Yes. Oh, they knew exactly what they were writing. And
so, can we get into the particulars of the story? What is it?
Bet you'd like to. Apparently, the guy's guilty of nothing more than just having a turgid. It's big.
So he was publicly pleasuring himself.
They say a woman took a video of him when she says he was publicly pleasuring himself. His defense was, I was just adjusting. Women do it all the time. Haven't you ever seen him do that?
With the bra?
Yes. I mean, you got things that move around, and when you're sitting there, you gotta.
I'd need some more detail. It could be either way. He could have been pleasuring himself, as she believed. He could have just been adjusting. Was he adjusting in the same motion for like 10 minutes? In the exact same back and forth adjusting motion for 10 minutes.
Well, first of all, it should be said that he never unzipped. Nothing was ever exposed. but there was no time frame reference given to said action of hand. His hand is basically just sitting there, and his hand's on his leg.
Was he looking at his cell phone with the other? Was he watching porn?
He was. Well, there is no word on whether or not he was. However, he was arrested in April while he was tearing down wanted posters with his picture on it. They put up wanted posters.
It's just the people did, or the police?
I think the police
It's got to just
did.
be the community.
Well,
I don't see the police putting up wanted posters for a guy who may, without exposing himself. No, I think the ladies probably did this.
She contacted Alethea Richardson. Contacted the cops after she shot a videotape that showed him engaged in not nefarious.
Have you seen the video?
I've seen the stills from it. I have not seen the video itself.
Let me ask you this. Just before he stopped adjusting, okay?
This question.
Just before he stopped adjusting.
Yes.
Did he go,
It's possible.
Any of that?
It's possible. It is.
That would help me determine. And he was saying, so the big part of the headline was that he was saying he was adjusting because he has to carry this thing around and it can be uncomfortable at times.
Think pendulous, I think, comes to mind.
What does Penn Jillette have to do with any of this thing?
Very little. Very
Is he
little.
known to be, is he the Milton Berle of our generation?
I've only seen him shirtless.
How many times?
Never pantless.
How many times?
Not as many times as a friend of mine.
Okay, quick side note, this getting way off the track. There's a friend of ours that we used to work with, a lovely young lady, very nice. She is a makeup artist, and she goes, I don't know what it is. I have seen Penn Jillette without a shirt multiple times. I don't know what happens. Every time, just something comes up where he's forced to take his shirt off.
You haven't lived until you've seen.
It's a good-looking guy.
Penn Jillette without a shirt. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said you haven't lived until you've seen Penn Jillette without a shirt. We'll just leave it there.
Headlines continue now.
Man pleads guilty to planning to flip Trump's limo with a stolen forklift.
Yeah, I wanted to go through this story. Do you have the particulars of the story?
Yes, he was arrested apparently last year. His name's Greg Lingang, or Linegang. He stole a forklift, and he was attempting to drive it, or he's going to attempt to drive it into the president's motorcade while the president was visiting North Dakota to promote tax legislation. And the plan was, according to the authorities, that he was going to try to flip the limo over and get to the president and then kill the president.
How was he going to kill him with the forklift, or?
And that's if he got, I think it was kind of like opening a can of sardines. He wanted to flip the limo over so it kind of, the doors popped open. He could get to the president, and then
we don't know how he was going to kill him.
I have no idea.
Okay, because this plan seems
flawed,
really stupid.
Yes,
like a incredibly stupid thing. Number one, you will not get any. Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Number one, you have to steal the forklift.
Yeah, that's problem number one.
Okay, you have to steal it.
Yes.
Okay, that's its own issue. Then number two, you have to get the forklift to where the president's limo is going to be.
Yes, you do.
And we don't know where he stole it. It could be
right. He could have
hundreds of miles away. I don't know where it was.
Well, let's even give him. It's 2 miles away.
Okay, you have to and get there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's assume for a moment it's actually in the same place that the limo is after you stole it without getting caught.
Right.
Number three, the Secret Service is not going to let you get anywhere near the limo with a forklift.
Probably not. No.
They're not even going to let you, let alone without forklift. But somehow you managed to navigate those waters, you in the forklift, without getting caught at the same location, and the Secret Service going, yeah, that guy with the forklift over there coming towards us, not a problem. That's cool, right?
Probably just a delivery.
Right.
Just a delivery.
Now, you're in there, you're coming at it. Forklifts are not speedy.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they're not.
So you're going to have to actually catch it.
Yeah.
All right. Assume that the president's limo slows down or is stopped long enough for you to do this when you get up to it. Will the forklift lift the beast? That's the president's limo.
And that thing, doesn't that weigh 5,000-6,000 pounds?
thousands of pounds.
And there are forklifts that will lift that much, but you have to get a very big forklift.
Right.
You ever seen my forklift?
It's big. I don't know if it'll lift the beast.
It's huge.
Do they call it the beast lifter?
They do, actually.
So, right, you have to... And did he do the math? Did he say this forklift is rated for and the beast weighs about?
I'm going to guess no.
Now, assuming it would, through that whole process, again, the Secret Service at that point doesn't go, because it's not like you're just going to run right up there and flip it over.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this. Bzz, let me reposition because of the front bzz, and back with the bzz.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like the Secret Service is like, you know that guy with the forklift we let in here?
He's
he's
in the car.
It's underneath the car. I don't know what he's doing there. Let's see where this goes.
It's kind of crazy.
Let's see what he's up to.
So far, he's not into the car, so I think we're okay.
Number 6 or 7, whatever. Did he get the right limo? You know, there's a decoy there. And then, if you manage to flip it, does he think Trump's going to go, I got to get out of here instantly, out of there? And then if he does that, how are you going to kill him? And again, the secrets. Am I giving this guy too much?
There's a lot that this guy did not take into account.
So he's criminally insane.
Very much so. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and he received 2 5-year sentences for stealing a forklift.
Wow.
And for another burglary incident. He's expected to be released in 2038.
What's his crowdfunding campaign up to?
Oh, I'm sure that he's probably
we got to get this guy.
Million at
he was
least.
willing to do something to Trump. Let's give him a bunch of money.
Oh, yeah. Yep, no doubt. Did you see the video of the couple that lost their ring in New York?
Did I?
Hair lip. They found it. They found the ring.
Are they sending it to me?
It was this was a sweet story. A couple in New York. I don't even know. It kind of choked me up a little. If you tell anybody that it choked me up, I'll hunt you down and kill you like an animal. But the guy was proposing to his fiancée in Times Square, and
they didn't know who it was,
the
right?
dumbass dropped the ring down the grate.
They didn't know who it was.
They had no idea.
I'm so thankful. I was so stressed about losing the ring. I tweeted out over the weekend as they were looking for the people. Wow. I know, Brad, I'm a dumbass. I get all butterfingery. And it was... They got it wrong. It was actually an anniversary present. My wife and I are going to renew our vows, and so they're going to send that, right?
Actually, they already found the couple, and they've given the ring back.
Liars.
They found it, and they are giving it back. They were from Cambridgeshire in the UK. They've already been in touch with the couple. Yeah. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
That's a nice little human interest story.
What do you get engaged over a sewer anyway for?
It's not the sewer. That's over the subway.
Do it by the side of the road out on I-64 like my wife and I.
Do it with some class.
That's a long story.
Quick break. This portion of the headlines brought to you by The Rich Solution.
Who?
The Rich Solution. By the way, wish her a happy birthday. It was yesterday.
Who?
Gwen Rich.
Of The Rich Solution?
Of The Rich Solution. She has celebrated another year of life.
That's a great point.
You know, she came close to not celebrating any more years of life for a couple of reasons.
Explain how.
Well, first of all, she developed cancer. And I can't even imagine when you sit there in the chair
brave. Such a hero. She's a hero to survive cancer.
She sits there in the chair. They tell her, you've got cancer.
So it's I'm likely to survive it because a lot of cancer is survivable now.
Yeah, well, no,
not the kind you have.
No. And then after that diagnosis, she, everything is pretty much smooth sailing. Oh, until she breaks her neck. Then they decide, look, they're going to do something. They're going to leave a legacy. And I say they, her husband, and they decide to come up with the Rich Solution, which is it's a 3-pronged attack, if you will.
Yeah, it's much better than a 2-pronged attack.
Yes, exactly. It leaves 3 marks. It's mind, body, and spirit. Did I get that right?
Yep.
See, those are your 3 prongs right there. You didn't think I knew what they were.
You can find out about their story with the book at therichsolution.com. And if you're curious about the supplements, just look under.
If you want to have great sex as a woman over 50.
What about a man over 50?
Well,
is that a different supplement?
If you find a woman with great sex as a man over 50, then all I'm saying is that's all you need.
Did you see Howie Long's thing?
No, I did not.
About, just
do you want to just...
Let's just get back to the headlines.
That's a good idea. By the way, hey, Ron, we'll do a transgender update here in a second. Just a little inside radio there. It is Monday, December 3rd. There are 21 days till Christmas, 32 days until next year, and 700 days. We're almost down to less than 700 days till the most important election of our lifetime. It's National Roof Over Your Head Day, so be thankful you have a roof over your head. And in 1947, this opened on Broadway.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Stella!
Miracle on 43rd Street.
Streetcar Named
Stella
Desire.
Dora the String. No, I know what that's. I know what it is.
And
With that guy and that other guy in the wife beaters.
1967, the first one of these happened.
Homosexual experience.
Wow, you nailed
What
that
year?
right off. 1967.
Yeah, that was 61.
No. It was the first human heart transplant.
Barney Clark.
Was it Barney Clark?
His was the artificial heart.
Yeah, it was the artificial
That was in
heart.
the 80s.
This was the first, I don't
That was not Barney Clark.
No. Amanda Seyfried is 32. Julianne Moore is 57 today. And Brendan Fraser, who they never cast in anything anymore, is 49.
That's because he's a house.
He
caught the fat.
He did catch the fat.
And now, an important transgender update.
A transgender woman is challenging Chicago's definition of the female breast. I knew this was coming.
Wait, what?
All right, so the woman, let's call her Candy.
Okay.
I think her name's Candy. Anyway, she has a performance show up in Chicago, and she comes out on stage with just a brown paper bag. She's naked otherwise. She's transgender.
Which way?
Man to woman. And so she's got the boobs there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have actually deemed it illegal for her to be on stage because there is a Chicago ordinance prohibiting waist-up nudity from women on stage.
But she's not a woman.
Exactly.
So she's using this to say,
yes,
sorry, you cannot do that.
Yeah, well, okay.
Sorry, you cannot do it.
Have you ever? But you knew this it was coming sooner or later.
Actually, no, they can't.
The fact that have you ever seen the pictures of a guy? You do transgender man to woman, and they blur out the boobs because now if he hadn't had the implants in there, they wouldn't blur them out. They're not real boobs.
They are.
No, they're not.
Because he's identified as a woman. See, this is the loophole, and this pisses me off that he's able to use it this way. So, number one, they keep saying, if I tell you they're boobs, or I'm a woman, I'm a woman, that's all it is, and that's all. That should be enough for you, because I say it. Okay,
Yes.
great.
I'm a tape.
But now he's allowed to say he's a woman, except here, now he's a man, because...
I missed the good old days.
And the answer is, Brad, you can be a man with breasts. Even though he identifies as a woman.
See, if I would never leave the house. I'd stay at home all day and just touch them. That is my burden. Those, by the way, are your headlines.
Did California Democrats beat Republicans fair and square by the practice of ballot harvesting? I believe they did, and here's why. Ballot harvesting is essentially the act of filling out a mail-in ballot, handing it to a relative or any other person, and directing that person to turn in the completed ballot to the election center so that the vote can be counted. While many would look at this practice as being ripe for fraud, and they would certainly be justified in doing so, unless fraud or other crime can be proven, then Democrats who won handily in California essentially came out on top because they proactively used the provisions of the law to their favor, while Republicans rested on their laurels. AB 1921, passed in 2016 with little fanfare, was signed into law by outgoing Democratic Governor Jerry Moonbeam Brown. The law allows for the involvement of a third party and prohibits them from receiving any form of compensation based on the number of ballots that the person has returned, and they are also prohibited from providing compensation. As a result of Democrats taking full advantage of the law, the San Francisco Chronicle reports that 250,000 such ballots were used in Orange County alone, resulting in a Democratic sweep there. Katie Merrill, a Democratic consultant, says that Democrats beat Republicans in a thorough and disciplined ground game. While I hate to admit it, I have to agree with her. Republicans relied on in-person voting and perhaps forgot to consider the impact of what could happen if Democrats went door to door to collect ballots that in many instances may never have been mailed in otherwise. And that's today's Reality Check with Susan Knowles.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American made and serve those who serve us, our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com, use promo code DUCK, and get 15% off your purchase. That's neverforgottenapparel.com.
All right, what are you laughing at? Somebody got a communique that's worthwhile.
You don't even get the complaints right. It was Sputtering Duck who says, I'm pretty sure that was me that complained about Brad Staggs not reading the tweets. I'm the resident complainer nagger, damn it.
Listen, I think James in Alabama, or one of his accounts,
I think
also had it.
That's be Brad's purple tainted
Unless
something.
they're the same person.
You've never seen them at the same time in the same room together?
I'm thinking there's really only like 2 jackholes.
I think, yeah. And
they've got 17 accounts each.
They trade off. Whiskey 6 said, I learned Doc sounds, I learned when Doc sounds like when having an orgasm.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it sounds like.
That's not it at all.
I mean,
much more vocal.
I read somewhere that's not what it is.
Now, that was just for, theater of radio here, because you noticed it wasn't followed by weeping. Quiet, gentle sobbing.
Followed by a quick prayer.
Which, and by the way, that's not just before and during and after sex. It's pretty much every off-air moment.
It's sad, really. It's
gentle sobbings.
Pathetic. DMXDM, Brad needs to work on his tranny finger. Looks like it's firing blanks.
Let me see.
He's right. I think I had a blank loaded in the chamber when I pointed over.
That over there.
I pointed over at Ron.
Who?
Ron. It's Ron Phillips sits over on
I don't know who
side.
that is.
He's the guy that pushes all the buttons.
Not familiar with him.
But thank you for noticing, DM. I appreciate that. And Bob Blah Blah.
Love the Bob Blah Blah.
Social Justice Xmas songs. Oh, Little Town of Berkeley. That's a good one. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yep, I like that.
Oh my, you're triggering me there, and I was about to be triggered anyways about Berkeley, because I got a story about Berkeley. A story about Berkeley. I got multiple stories that Angry Doc has. I got one I got to share here, but Berkeley, you triggered me in a different direction. I wasn't prepared to go there. And I'm going to be pissed enough as it is through parts of the... Let me just pause here and remind people about MoJoWildRice.com. And then there is a 97.645% chance that Angry Doc is coming. That he's coming.
Oh, good.
MoJoWildRice.com. You go there for all things Minnestalgia. It's those edible memories from the Northwoods of Minnesota that I love. It is fantastic. Had some more Minnestalgia wild rice over the weekend, and it's just great stuff. It's the only native grain to North America, and it really is more of a seed than your traditional grains or starches, because that's what when you think rice.
It's not your typical that. And the first time I tried it, I was like, this is weird. This isn't like rice. It's different, and it's really good.
It's like the first time you've had any of these others. There's so many of these ancient grains out there that we've never heard of. Things like quinoa. First time you had it, you're like, oh, well, this is different.
Are you talking about quinoa?
Yeah, that's the stuff or whatever. Think along those lines as far as being different, not the rice. Has a great flavor. It's naturally cholesterol and gluten, and also...
it's free range.
It's free range as well. That's right. Yeah. They don't just put it into a bar.
And it's boneless, too. You will not find any bones.
It is also boneless. Exactly. It is also skinless. It's also skinless.
They skin it for you.
It is a plant-based proteins for people who care about such things, and it's almost a complete protein. Trace vitamins and minerals. It's really healthy, but it tastes great. Try it in many different applications, but also go there and try the pepper jams and jellies. Those
have
are
you ever
awesome.
had your kebabs glazed?
I have many times, and they are amazing.
When you do it with the raspberry pepper jam from Minnestalgia, you will never look at your kebabs again or taste them the same way.
You have a lot of time still to get some of the sampler packs in time for the holiday parties, and it's not just as a Christmas gift, although it can be. It's also great when you get together with people. If you have a gift like that, or maybe just buy it for the party, and you open that up and just try a bunch of the different stuff, the different jellies and the jams and the syrups, and
people will be saying, "I love the way you drizzle on your vegetables."
They'll be very, very happy with your party. Plus the pepper jam, it works so well as a glaze. Just take your meat. Glaze it down with that and cook it, and it is fantastic. You will love it.
Yes.
Minnestalgia Wild Rice at MoJoWildRice.com. It's MoJoWildRice.com. And now, hashtag Angry Doc. I'm making fun of it up front here to try to keep the lid on it, because I could lose my ever-loving mind over this.
Oh,
I could absolutely. This is Naked in a Clock Tower. This is pitchforks and nooses and boiling oil, boiling tar and feathers headed to D.C. Piss me off, make me crazy.
What happened?
The Department of Justice. The Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Aside from what I'm about to share with you, the fact that this comes from the Department of Justice makes no sense. Do you know where I'm going? Do you know what the story is?
I don't yet. No.
Is giving $16.7 million in grant money. Done. I'm already pissed off.
This is not going to end well because they don't have $16 million.
We don't have money. Forget the rest of the story for a moment. Done. Giving a grant 16. We don't have money.
Yeah.
And by the way, President Trump is overspending like crazy, worse than George H.W. Bush. Not as bad as Obama because he set a new standard. But still, and it's not all his fault. It's Congress as well. I know that. D.C., current president, the current Congress, presidents past Congresses as well, continuing to still overspend $16.7 million on grants. Let me help you out before we even get to the rest of it. What that means is they have given your tax dollars away again on a program when we don't have it. We don't have the money. We're already now at $21 trillion in debt and counting. And nobody seems to care. Why do we have a debt ceiling anymore if they just keep raising it? What is the point?
There is no point, and there's no budget.
And there's no budget. At some point, that is going to be called in. At some point, we're going to have to pay that. Unless you know some other way out of it. Are we just going to tell everybody around the world, F off, we're defaulting? Is that what's going to happen?
Most likely.
So, your tax dollars. Your children's tax dollars, because that's how long, and then some it'll take to pay this off if we actually ever do. $16.7 million in grant money given by the Department of Justice to...
Here comes the second part.
Victims of the Las Vegas massacre.
Wait, what? What? Why are they getting from...
Because they're victims, Brad.
Why is the Department of Justice giving
them?
What does
Department of Justice has nothing to do with anything. Year number 2, the $16 million that we don't have, and victims of massacres. Not a massacre by the government.
No.
Not a failure of the government. Oh,
no.
It's determined we're culpable in this because we didn't blah, bitty, blah. No. They're just giving your effing dollars away to somebody that they feel bad about. What about everybody else? Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker on Friday announced that the grants will assist victims of this incident, including ticket holders, concert staff, vendors, witnesses. This is a quote from the press release from Matthew Whitaker, acting AG. Are you ready? The grant will assist victims of this incident, including ticket holders, concert staff, vendors, witnesses, law enforcement personnel, and other first responders. We cannot undo the harm that was done that day, but we are doing what we can to help Las Vegas heal. Today, we take the next step of providing more than $16 million for the victims of that tragedy and for the first responders who came to the scene to help pay for counseling, therapy, rehabilitation, trauma recovery, and legal aid.
Wow.
If they had said first responders, I would balk at this a little bit because it's the federal government.
Yes.
Las Vegas and the state of Nevada can pay for this. Because do you believe in states' rights or not? Because a lot of people on the right go, it's first responders, and I support cops and military and first responders. Okay, great. Are you a conservative? Do you believe in states' rights and the stuff should be on the owners, the responsibility of the state and local government? Great. So they can do it. So that's a failure right off. I understand if you say as government, we have a responsibility because law enforcement works for government. quite often, and therefore we have a responsibility for their trauma, whatever. But wouldn't that just fall under their health care plan anyways?
You would think so, yes.
Okay. So really, none of that should even be paid by the state or city unless they had a contract that said they needed to do it, because otherwise this would just be covered under their health care, or it should be. But it's not just first responders. The government, the federal government, is handing it out to ticket holders. Concert staff working a job.
Okay.
Shouldn't that fall, all of this, primarily on Stephen Haddock?
Yes.
And if true negligence was proved, like, all right, we're the people who employ the concert staff, and we knew it was likely somebody would bust out the windows 32 stories up at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and fire bullets down onto the crowd. If you could prove that there was some negligence where they should have known that.
Right.
Like, hey, we should have known that asking the concert staffers to grab these exposed wires while standing in a pool of water is going to be bad for you. Okay, maybe I'll give you that. Stephen Haddock's responsible for this. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's bad enough when these knuckleheads out there have started suing their bosses because I'm a concert staffer. You should have somehow known that this guy was going to flip out when not even his family knew.
Right.
That's bad enough. But now you're asking me, your fellow citizen, to be responsible for an accident. I mean, it's an accident in the sense of nobody knew that this was going to happen. The guy went crazy. In fact, the FBI hasn't even told us what really happened. So you know what? If I'm going to pay this $16.7 million, damn it, I want answers. I want all of the information. Every effing transcript that the FBI was given, every recording, I want all of that. I want to know why I'm paying $16.7 million. Damn it, this pisses me off.
Well, and didn't you say witnesses, too?
Yes, witnesses.
So what constitutes a witness? Somebody walking down the street that wasn't even at the concert?
I heard it. I was 2 hotels away and heard it.
Yeah.
And I was triggered by this. Potentially, they would have a claim. And why are you stopping at $16.7 million? Do you think they're going to? This is going to be a money pit, and they will put millions and millions more in the future. What happened that day, I believe it was October 1st, 2017, just over a year ago. 58 people murdered by Stephen Haddock, 600 plus injured. I get it. Horrible. It's a tragedy. But I'm not responsible for it. You're not responsible for it unless your name is in fact Stephen Haddock and you're the one who did this. That is who's responsible. Do you realize this is akin to blaming the gun? How am I responsible? How is the gun responsible?
By the way,
Trump's attorney general is doing this. This didn't come from, well, Senator Schumer in New York decided. No, this is the Trump administration's Department of Justice and acting AG Matthew Whitaker.
What even triggered him to do it? What day did he wake up and say, okay, we need to send money out there?
I don't know.
That this makes no sense whatsoever.
This is driving me up the friggin' wall. How are our veterans doing?
Not well. But yeah.
I shared with you last week, and I have more stories of the failures of the Veterans Administration right now. A department of the federal government.
Yes.
That we have a contract, both moral and actual contract, with helping and doing what's right for these veterans, which we have not done yet. We've taken it on taken the responsibility on, we, meaning the government, has taken the responsibility of caring for the victims and their family of something that is not their responsibility. They have nothing to do with.
Right.
And if you give them money for this, I know it's done via grants, aren't you admitting some sort of culpability in this?
Well, and that's actually somebody just brought that up. But Cordy Taint Bucked Up says, is it just me or is this government grant nothing more than hush money?
Right. It's got to be something that's, you know what? That makes as much sense as anything. That makes the most sense.
Yeah. And Saving Private Harambe says, I saw it on the news. Am I officially a witness? Where's my share? And that was my next question. If you did see it on television, I mean, you could be.
I covered it. I covered the story on the air, and you know what it did? It's just so upsetting to me. And therefore, how to.
Where does it? Yeah. Where does it end? Where does it end?
Well, I know it's not with 16.7 million.
No.
They've already put up another 3 for just the first responders, so it's closer to 20 million.
And it ain't going to end there.
And it's not going to end there.
No.
Well, you've also got these victims that are suing on top of it. Is this hush money because there was a second shooter? Is there hush money because the government screwed up? Is this hush money because the government is trying to pay these people off so they won't sue all of those... Everybody, all of the businesses involved here. Is that it?
And when you accept the money, what does the piece of paper you have to sign look like? What does it say?
I can tell you from experience, often when you sign something accepting money, whether it's a contract up front, for severance pay, for a legal settlement, anything like that, it often comes with you can't sue or talk about this.
Right, exactly. And that has to be in there. That's what this has to be about. This has to be about the tamping down of future lawsuits.
Well, good for the families of these victims and the victims that are still alive. Good for them, because those victims had the good sense to be killed there via a gun in a high-profile situation.
Right.
I mean, if they had choked on a California roll at the Rio's Carnival World Buffet the day before, the family wouldn't be getting squat.
Right.
Unless, of course, they sued the Rio. But they wouldn't be getting any from me and you. If they had tripped over a rock out in front of New York the day before, they wouldn't be getting anything. And anybody that got into a car accident on the property of Circus the next day didn't get crap either. But because it's high profile, because it was so emotional, so shocking, so many people, that it was in Las Vegas during a concert, and it's wrapped in the anti-gun hysteria, then the federal government offers money. 18-year-old Cameron Hutchinson was struck by a car while walking in Las Vegas just weeks before this tragedy. Right. He's 18.
Okay.
Walking in a crosswalk. Whole life ahead of him, struck by a car and killed just weeks before this. Cameron isn't going to get any federal grant money from the Department of Justice because he was too stupid enough to know that he should have waited to be shot a couple of weeks later at the concert. Just Cameron, how dumb. 41-year-old Billy Scuppa, same thing. So dumb. He died of a massive heart attack suddenly just a couple of weeks before this massacre. Billy, you idiot.
Should have waited.
Why didn't you wait to have it at the concert? Why didn't you wait to have that massive heart attack and die at the concert? Your family would be getting money, Billy. 85-year-old Frederick Barber. What an idiot that guy was. Parkinson's disease. Weeks before.
Yeah. He should have just stuck it out.
You're already in Vegas. Come on, Freddie. See, if only they had the good sense to be murdered via gun during a high-profile massacre, their family would be getting money. But all of those are just 3 examples of the dozens and dozens of people that died in and around Las Vegas in the month leading up to this massacre. So and there's dozens and dozens more just the following couple of weeks.
So foolish.
So ignorant. How dumb and how insensitive. You don't care about your family enough to have the good sense to die in this massacre where they're going to be handing out money?
It's unbelievable that they would be so selfish.
Folks, that's what you call satire. Of course. These people didn't know they were going to die of Parkinson's or a heart attack or be struck by a car. Neither did the people at the concert. From what we can tell, there was no way of knowing, and certainly there is no responsibility or culpability when it comes to me and you, the federal government. I don't even think when it comes to Las Vegas or the state of Nevada. But by giving them money, that's what they're saying. They're saying that these people and the way they died matter more. Why? Why do they matter more?
What if Paddock was a CIA operative?
People have suggested that.
Mm-hmm. What if he, in fact, was some sort of government employee on a rogue mission gone wrong? Those are my words.
There's something going on here.
Something is happening, and the DOJ is paying this money to hush a larger story.
Right. There's something else out there. Well, damn it, I'd want answers anyway. But if I'm putting up $16.7 million, a story that I've been curious about anyway, and I had to listen to these knuckleheads attack the Second Amendment, this entire year, no, I need answers. Sorry, if you're going to put up money like that, no, it's grant money, Doc. Grant money? What a bunch of crap that is anyways.
Yeah.
All that is grant money is something they can give out without the same strings attached.
Yeah.
Grant money is not a low interest loan, a no interest loan. Grant money is free. It's free money. Just take this money and go. And when it comes to grant money, there's no post-mortem to see if it was well spent.
No. That's the beauty of that's why we need a grant.
Right. I'll take a grant. I'll take a grant for anybody. Hell, I'll take Lou Grant if we can get his ass to work. I don't care. Grant money is never with the addendum that after you spend the money, we go, wow, that was spent well. It was certainly worth spending, and therefore you're good to go.
Well, and, it's vital that we know the mating habits of the Norwegian titmouse in wintertime.
Right.
They have to get that sort of research done.
It's
Otherwise,
crap. Grant money is simply a slush fund.
Yeah.
And what is the Department of Justice? Just because they're the Department of Justice? Couldn't Health and Human Services have offered this?
You'd think, which is why this whole thing is not just wrong, that there's something that we're not getting the whole story.
Do you remember some of the people around 9/11? I was going to say, I don't even remember. It's just locals. What it was got tax breaks.
I don't remember the tax breaks.
Oh yeah, if you were in, I don't know who all it covered. I think I've blocked it out of my memory because it pisses me off so much.
Right.
Tax breaks.
I had no idea.
Couldn't this be any other department of the federal government if you're going to put it under the Department of Justice?
That's what's the puzzling part is the DOJ. Unless again he had some affiliation with the DOJ, and that's what.
Well, they're going to say, well, it's first responders, but you didn't limit it to first responders,
right? Which is why
even that, like I said, shouldn't be the federal government's responsibility.
The only reason that they would give out the money is, in fact, if somehow they could be found to be responsible for the event. And
this is the collusion that everyone should be pissed about. There's plenty of collusion we should be concerned about, and it's not from Russia and Trump. Has nothing to do with that. It's the collusion of the Department of Justice and whatever the hell this was with Stephen Paddock. How about the collusion of Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill? No, I say collusion, not people working together. That in public they beat each other senseless. How dare they say the most reprehensible things, but colluding together, price fixing, if you were, to put up that image so you and I constantly bitch about people on the left or people on the right. Meanwhile, they screw us over every step of the way. They continue to overspend. They continue to not provide the services and care that they're supposed to for veterans. They continue to F up every damn service that comes from the federal government. Every damn one of them is bloated, inefficient, fatty. Every one of them. And does it matter, Democrats, Republicans, does it matter who is in what department, who is heading up what agency, what branch of the government? No, it doesn't matter. First 2 years of Obama's first term, Democrats had the entire thing. House, Senate, White House. In order to pass legislation, they had the entire thing. What did they put all their capital into? Healthcare, Obamacare. Folks, they have told us repeatedly that the most dire consequence we face in the future is what? What do the Democrats say? Overwhelmingly, the most dire consequence. If we don't make massive change in
climate change
in the next 40 seconds, 10 years, 30 years, they give us all these numbers. If that is the truth, they really believe it's dire. Why didn't they say in Obama's first 2 years they are going to pass? Why didn't they, in fact, pass outrageously encumbering legislation to change everything? Why didn't they say we are banning fossil fuels?
Right.
They could have done anything. They didn't do crap when it came to that.
Nope.
Little treaties, little whatever. Why didn't they do that? Because it's crap. It's a lie. Then you had varying combinations of Republicans and Democrats. Then President Trump, first 2 years, House, Senate, and White House. What have Republicans told you over and over? Deficits. We've got to get the deficit, and we've got to get rid of that national debt. We got to do that. Yeah. Obamacare, look how troubling. And they didn't get it done.
Well,
it's crap. That's the truth. That's what's really going on. You can have your views, left, right, Green Party. You can be the tufted titmouse party. You can be any party you want, any values. But here is what I promise you. What you want to have happen is not being done, and they are not actually working on it regardless of what they tell you. They are simply working on the image that they are working on it to keep you bitching at people like me and people like me bitching at people like you, to keep us at a fever pitch so we can continue to elect those dirtbags so they can line their own effing pockets with my money and your money, paying off people politically along the way, like the people of Las Vegas that were involved in this murder.
It is stunning. And it's stunning when, for instance, David over on MeWe says, constitutional question of the day. If the answer is no, I may just go on a spree. Is the Justice Department even constitutionally justified? Please tell us where it is located. Article 1, Section Clause. It's not.
It's not. It absolutely is not. They know that. We have just accepted that they can hand out this money because they do what they want. Yeah. None of this is constitutional. Do they have the power to tax? And I guess. Where is it, though? So frustrating.
Paddock was a career hitman, by the way. Plane rapper, in and out through TSA lines. His pics are everywhere, 20 years plus. Well, here's the thing. It sounds you start going down the conspiracy theory roads, but this is what feeds the conspiracy theories.
It's right there, Brad. It's right. It's behind my left ear.
The implant?
No, that little
the pain
bone right there is where the pain is today.
Yeah.
It happens there quite often, which is why I'm relief factoring it up.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing about relief factor. Again, no magic bullet, but if you suffer from, like Doc does, the pain of catching the old.
Yep.
And it will catch up with you eventually.
Yep.
The old is one of those things that we all are going to have to deal with.
Explain the relief factor.
Unless you're lucky enough to be a victim somewhere and get money. But relief factor is a natural anti-inflammatory. When I say natural, it's botanicals, it's omega-3s.
It's not big pharma.
It is not big pharma. It's not opioids.
Oh, by the way, it gets a bunch of your effing money and grants and paybacks and kickbacks as it is too.
See, there's always a connection.
Just take these.
Yes, good idea. When you take relief factor for between 7 and 10 days, most people under 2 weeks find out whether or not it works for them. Some people say, hey, it doesn't work for me. Usually those are the people that when you ask them, did you take it as directed? They'll go, well, no. Look, get for $20, go to relieffactor.com, get the 3-week quick start pack, take it for 7 to 10, just take it as directed, 7 to 10 days. If you find yourself feeling better and you go, wow, I think I'm going to keep taking this because I feel better and the pain level's down, order some more of it.
By the way, it works. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. MoJo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. All right, this evening, the body of former President George H.W. Bush will lie in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda as Washington begins 3 days of events honoring the nation's 41st president.
Bush returns to the nation's capital one final time today, a city where he spent decades in public service, from Congress to the State Department to the CIA and to the White House, as both vice president and president. His casket is being flown here from Houston, and after his arrival will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda through Wednesday morning. Federal agencies will be closed on Wednesday for Bush's invitation-only state funeral. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Stock futures soaring this morning on Wall Street. Overseas markets rallying as well now that the U.S. and China have declared a 90-day truce in their trade dispute. In one of his latest tweets, President Trump writes, China has agreed to reduce and remove tariffs on cars coming into China from the U.S. Currently, the tariff is 40%. For the first time, a Mideast nation is pulling out of OPEC, the tiny oil-rich kingdom of Qatar leaving the cartel amid rising tensions with larger oil producers Saudi Arabia.
This announcement came as a surprise here in the Persian Gulf, although it's not totally unexpected. Qatar has been under a long-running boycott by Saudi Arabia, which dominates OPEC.
Correspondent John Gambrell in the United Arab Emirates. Today will mark a return to school and some semblance of routine for thousands of children who lost their homes to the deadly wildfire in Paradise, Northern California. And looking at those Wall Street numbers right now, Dow futures are up 451 points. S&P futures ahead 43, and NASDAQ futures up 156 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dating today with all the crazies out there has to be nuts.
Yes, it really would. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a place you could go to find people who think like you do?
Like me, like libertarians and conservatives?
Right?
There is. WeThePeople.dating.
Amazing. What a genius idea. This is a site that you can go to if you're single and you are looking for somebody who you know you're going to think the same way, as for, from a political freedom standpoint. If you want to date the right person for you, you'll find them in one place. WeThePeople.dating.
The Adrian Slate Show. If you want a real funny, real-time example of a juxtaposition, or as they like to call juxtaprogressive, take a look at San Francisco. The mayor said there is so much feces on the streets because of homelessness that it's more than she's ever seen. So, big government welfare state has provided us with a slew of homelessness. But capitalism found a way to meet a need caused by progressivism in the form of what is called an app called Snapcrap. Somebody was enterprising enough to build an app that allows you to take pictures of where to avoid homeless defecation. So now this app will let you wade the murky, muddy waters and hurtle over the homeless dump logs. Thanks to capitalism, we have a way to mitigate the damage of crappy progressivism.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
The mothership has landed.
Oh my gosh, I got so much more to get to today.
Don't miss a minute of it.
I may have to push the other angry thing back a little bit because I know I'm going to get angry about it. All right, let's get some communiques, and we got a lot of other topical stories. Some really good ones to get to. Communiques now. Hashtag what I learned today and hashtag social justice Xmas songs.
Andy Richardson over on MeWe. I left for a bit, came back. Doc was still ranting. What I learned today, if your angry doc lasts more than 4 hours, consult a physician. That's a good idea. That's wise advice to anyone.
Do you realize how perfectly, horribly wonderful that story is out of Las Vegas? It has everything. It has it all. It has conspiracy.
Yes, it does.
That is absolutely founded.
Uh-huh.
You know there's enough crap that doesn't add up there, given all of the other weirdness around that story, that every conspiracy theory is absolutely warranted. I mean, listen, you're talking to conspiracy theorists, you start going, okay, this guy's nuts. that's not an issue. Just don't even talk about that, right?
Right.
And some you're like, maybe. All of these are absolutely on the table now.
Oh, yeah.
All the stories of extra shooters and back and forth and the missing videotapes and then the cops and whatever, and we never got any information. And now they're paying people off.
They officially, remember that when they released the report? We officially, after investigating,
we don't
have
know.
No idea.
We investigated. Who knows?
Which
Let's just move on.
They
right?
know exactly what it was, and we can't tell you.
And then this has government overspending in the face of all this other stuff that's going on.
Backyard Cow says, I'm sure the Department of Justice cut their budget to offset the $16 million in grants. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they're cutting it from salaries.
No. Obviously, you're being facetious there, but they don't even have to because they have this grant money comes from what is probably just a budgeted pile of grant money that they can do whatever.
It's the extra money sitting around that we don't have.
Right, exactly.
And the Steve 42 social justice Xmas songs, Grandma Transition to a Reindeer. Wow. And that's, why haven't we had anyone identifying as a cat yet or as a dog?
We did. That lady had all that surgery.
Oh, the cat lady.
I don't think she said she's transitioning.
No, but that's
still.
just it. Someone at some point, can you not identify as a reindeer?
Oh, it's coming. It's within the next year at most. Someone is going to, I mean, not just a little casual reference like we said. There'll be a significant story where somebody's really pushing this.
Yes.
Or it'll be tied to somebody saying, no, we need some grant money, or somebody got fired from a job. It'll be tied to something really big, though.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny how money can solve so many problems.
And also create so many problems.
Now, the totally acceptable racist joke of the day.
So a white guy walks into a bar with a big parrot on his shoulder, and the bartender says, where the hell did you get that thing? And the parrot says, Europe. They got millions of them.
This has been the totally acceptable racist joke of the day.
See, you thought he was talking to the white guy.
No, but he
was talking to the parrot.
He was talking to the parrot.
And where did you get him?
Europe.
They got millions of them there. Go get yourself one.
The white guys all over.
That's a totally acceptable racist joke of the day.
Yes, it is.
All right, I got to get to a quick commercial. Remind you about Patriot Mobile to sign up today, and then I got to talk about this big media merger. PatriotMobile.com/doc. It's PatriotMobile.com/doc or 800-8-PATRIOT. Thanks so much to the great folks at Patriot Mobile for supporting this platform. They really get what we're doing, and we absolutely get what they're doing. Trying to both be capitalist and also promote conservative and libertarian causes. It's PatriotMobile.com/doc. What was that?
Was your hair ever really that color?
Listen to me.
If you go to PatriotMobile.com/doc, you will find not only...
Can I help you out there?
Listen. This picture of you, were you 12?
Listen, that picture was taken like 6 years ago when I was 22 at the time. And yes, I had a little bit darker hair. That's it. It was a rough 6 or whatever, 5'3", whatever. But I was about 22, 23 at the time.
Okay. That's what you...
That's the story I'm sticking with.
It's all. I would say you're due for some grant money, but if you can get past the picture, you can. You'll see that you can save some money too on your cell service.
Are we buying one and getting one?
Yes, you're buying one pair of shoes, getting another.
No, a line.
Free.
Buy a line, get a line at PatriotMobile.com/doc. Seriously, folks, don't worry about the coverage. The coverage is great. It's not like it was 15, 20 years ago, where one company had 3 cell towers, the other had 107 in different.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. And number 2. If it is horrible, Doc, you're completely wrong. It's been horrible. Eventually, you change to something else.
Yes,
you're not signing a contract with the devil in blood for the next 100 years like some people may be doing.
Right.
You're not doing that with PatriotMobile.com/doc. That's not what's going on here.
But they support all of these progressive causes.
Actually, that's
the
just
worst.
the point. Aside from great deals and saving money, they believe in the things that you and I believe in, libertarian, conservative causes, and they're putting their money where their mouth is because some of the profits go to actually pay for and support candidates and ideas, things that maybe would stand in the face of giving government grants for people who've been victimized.
Yeah, let's just
Something
say
like
they'd definitely be against that. Definitely.
PatriotMobile.com/doc or 800-A-PATRIOT.
Have some fun.
A major conservative media merger.
What? When did this happen?
Who saw that? I just saw the information yesterday or last night. Wow.
Who merged?
Getting ready to, I don't know, I'm a little confused about when this is happening, but according to the Hollywood Reporter, there is a major merger coming. Who saw a major merger coming?
Major merger
a year ago. Who saw that coming? Anyway, according to the Hollywood Reporter, and we had talked about one coming, but we had no idea who it would be.
Right. No.
We had people speculating online, listeners, and they're saying, I think it's this, that, or the other. But according to the Hollywood Reporter and now other media outlets, that The Blaze is merging. They're saying merging.
Right? That's the
with CRTV.
Yes, you bring together. They're
okay. So
merging.
I didn't see any of the details, and I don't know if they're available. My question is, when you say merger, and this is just for me and you,
right?
Can you say merger if one is technically buying the other one? I don't know what the rule is for that.
I don't know that there is
What's this guy's name? What's this guy's name?
That's Ron.
Ron. Hey, Ron, I know you've been around the business world a lot. Does that still apply? Can you say merger if it's still, I guess you can, right?
I don't know. That seems to me like that is a word choice for a particular reason.
Does that seem more like used more for marketing, you think, at times?
Yes, I mean, absolutely.
Let's say
it's used to throw everyone off from we're taking it over.
What's his name again?
Ron.
Let's say Ron's House of Barrels. He's a cooper. He's a Radabaugh, a barrel maker. Ron's House of Barrels. And wow, that would work great with Doc's House of Barrels. I want to buy that out, and I'm going to buy 51% of your company or something like that. Is that really a merger? That's me buying you, isn't it?
That is you buying me. Correct.
But we could say it's a merger, and there's a lot of things that go into details. Okay, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know what the breakdown is. I don't know if the Blaze owns more, CRTV.
A merger sounds more equal.
Yeah, and maybe it's completely equal. I don't know, but that normally doesn't happen in the world or media. But
well, you would think they would choose a name that would be more
one way or the other, or universal,
or a universal name.
Okay,
but they didn't.
So they're going to stick with some version of Blaze TV,
Correct.
Maybe not the Blaze.
It's Blaze TV now.
But that's just for the TV portion. What about radio and .com and all that?
Yes. I'm sure that will all be explained later today.
Well, all of those things are really confusing. I don't know if mergers, right? Maybe it's absolutely accurate, or maybe one's buying the other, which I don't know what the breakdown would be then, and you just got to wonder what that means for the future.
Right.
I don't know if they've mentioned any of the programming. We've speculated about that, what this major merger was going to be. The audience did. Apparently, some of the audience got it right.
They nailed it. Good for you guys. I have to hand it to you.
Now, somebody mentioned to me regarding this, because we had talked about a merger. We didn't know what it was going to be.
Nope.
But somebody mentioned to me over the weekend, they said, hey, I heard you when you were talking about that merger.
Yeah.
And you also talked about some crazy people that you'd worked with over the years. And you talked about somebody being a fraud. And I said, yeah, that's right. And they speculated who that was.
Right.
And they said, and then you speculated, is who that person's stooge was, that person's lackey that I mentioned.
Right.
Who the wannabe. And they speculated, and they absolutely got the lackey wrong.
Correct.
They got when they were talking to me. And I said, listen, man, you really thought that's what I was talking about? They said, yeah, a lot of people speculate online. So before I get to the rest of this merger thing, let me just throw this out there. If you're somebody that was listening those days and you thought when I said lackey or stooge was talking about Stu Bergier, I absolutely was not. I'm not saying that. No, I just didn't realize people really thought that. Stu, genuinely, truly, is an amazing talent and a good guy. Am I wrong about that?
And a fabulous kisser.
I wasn't going to go that far, but okay.
Yeah, but I will add that part.
Stu, your thoughts, Brad Staggs.
Love Stu to pieces.
In so many ways.
Yes, absolutely.
For so many reasons.
Yes.
As a talent, Stu is amazing.
Might be the smartest guy in that building.
He really is that good a guy. And Stu always treated me very well. So I absolutely was not talking about him. I also want to say, because this person said, were you talking about Pat Gray? No, I was not. Just like Stu, Pat Gray, I love for so many reasons. And even though I loved working with Pat over the years, there was an incident that I became privy to about a year or so ago that was just a very subtle thing that Pat did on his own that proves he is who he says he is on the air.
Was that little thing he did with his...
No, that's a different thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Where Pat truly cares. He truly is a principled man.
Yeah.
And it was proven to me again, and I was like, that's why I like... And awesome on the air.
Yeah.
And they said, Jeffy, are you kidding me? Jeffy's awesome.
Who doesn't love Jeffy?
I love all three of those guys. They're amazing talents. So if you were thinking that's what I was talking about when I said some sort of lackey was somebody I'd worked with over the years for somebody else that was a fraud, it is not those three people.
No.
It absolutely is not them. And I'm not just being kind. I do truly, genuinely love all three of those guys on the air and off.
Absolutely.
And by the way, so back to what we're talking about in this media merger now. I don't know what's going on here, but I want to chastise and caution the audience just a moment here.
All right.
For those of you who have already begun saying things like the over and under is 14 months, let me just say that is,
pessimistic.
I didn't say that. No. I'm just saying if you're online and, just critical and saying the over and under on a success merger, something like that is just 14 months. If that's what that's just, it is.
Certainly is. It is.
You've got to base your predictions on track record. You're going to make a prediction about media or anything, and I think you understand this. But let me remind you when it comes to media. You've got to base it on track record.
Yes.
A history of decision making. Have good decisions been made? So if you're gonna invest in a company, let's say you decide, hey, I want to buy into what's his name? Ron's House of Barrels.
Yes.
Right? I'm gonna invest in this or whatever.
Yep.
And you've seen that over the years. What's his? Ron has made bad decisions, even though he's had every opportunity to do well. That he the money and surrounded him with really good people and whatever, and it just never works out. And let's say Ron makes grandiose promises day after day that never come true.
Right.
But Ron still does well, financially and whatever, but nobody else does.
Right.
Anybody that, whatever, and it just doesn't. You've got to say, do you think Ron merging with somebody else is going to be successful? Right. I would say I have questions about it. So
that's fair.
Just as a hypothetical, you have to look at the history of both companies involved, and you look at the projections, the promises, the speculation, the goals versus the outcome. And you look back and you go, wow, none of that happened. Or, wow, all of that happens likely. So if you're saying the over-under 14 months, just, hey, you have to ask yourself, do you believe what people are saying in promises versus their actions? And you only know that when you look back, truly.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just hoping.
Right.
So having said all of that, I know many people at the Blaze, probably most of them. And I know some of the people at CRTV. Handful of the managers and talent. Dan Bongino over at CR is one of my favorite broadcast media content producers. I love Michelle Malkin. Even though I always say Malkin. Michelle Malkin. I think Crowder, as we said on the air, I think he's hilarious, does a great job. I think Mark Levin does a nice job. So I know a lot of the people on both sides of this cumulative. And I wish most of them well.
Yes.
I wish almost all of them all the success in their careers in the future. Almost everybody I want to see flourish.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you too wish almost everybody well?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I
think
absolutely
we're in agreement here. So you're saying, if as this thing goes through, you wish almost everybody well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I stand in 100%.
I got to tell you, though, I'm a little confused about this merger, though.
Which part is confusing?
Well, some of the things written between the Hollywood Reporter and others, I'm confused by. So, for example, the Hollywood Reporter said, Blaze Media, as the new company will be known, will be headquartered in Dallas. That's what it said. There's a quote in there that says Blaze Media will be headquartered in Dallas. Okay. But Mark Levin tweeted last night, CRTV issued a correction because, let me back up. The original report was Levin and some other guy are merging. Okay. And he's like, he's not merging.
Right.
He doesn't own CR, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So he corrected that. And then the next one he said, and this is Mark Levin, he said the decision for the merger was made by the principals of CRTV and the Blaze. Also, the headquarters will not be in Dallas, Texas.
That's interesting.
So if within the first couple of hours, minutes of this going public, if with the first couple of minutes, your major talents on either side of this, your major content producers, the people who are like most responsible that you're hanging your hat on, don't even know where the headquarters is going to be?
It makes it difficult to go to work in the morning.
I would say there is some at least confusion in this deal. And who knows, maybe something else, but the confusion within the first couple of minutes.
It is strange.
Maybe I'm confused by this. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but is that what you saw?
It does seem that there is initially some muddy waters between parties involved.
Yeah, I hope egos don't get in the way. And here's what you got to remember about any of this stuff. From a conservative libertarian standpoint and somebody who appreciates business, guys, this is bigger than egos. It's got to be about what we can accomplish together as principled people, as conservatives and libertarians working together. I think I have shown over the years that I am willing to work with just about anybody. I will give away free commercials. I will work harder than most people, giving my time to other people's businesses, even though they didn't effing appreciate it at times. That I will work even harder than them. I will sacrifice without pay. I will put in long hours. And I tell you, this has got to be bigger than all of that. It's got to be about the mission and what we're all here for.
Absolutely.
So that's what you need to take away. Now, I got to give them a lot of credit. In this, you want to talk about big, guys. Think about the opportunity here. Think about what's at stake as people continue. I mean, we're, a little company here we're trying to build here, right? Think about when you get that many good people together. Like I said, the Dan Bonginos out there and the Mark Levins, right?
Absolutely.
That could be big. Think about what they're creating here, right? But I got to give them credit. Think about how fearless they are. I want you to stop and think about how fearless they are, what they're doing over there.
All right.
Because I saw a quote in the Hollywood Reporter article that said they've named co-presidents. That is bold.
That should be interesting.
That is, you want to talk about being daring and taking chances. I've never known that to be successful anywhere in the world. Co-leaders, I mean,
this could be the first time.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You guys are really trying to do things different.
Yes.
Co-presidents, whether it's a company, a nonprofit, a business, two people with equal power running things. Woo, that is bold. God bless them for trying to set the world on fire and do some new things.
Absolutely.
I don't think
I saw
that's
what you
ever.
did there, by the way.
You see what I set the world on fire? Thank you for noticing that. Good for you. Good. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, always trend setting there. Good for you.
And let me just say, sputtering duck, you are so wrong. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, very good. Anyway, yeah, awesome. Most of the people involved in this, God bless you. I love you, and I truly wish you well. All right, so we had an announcement here. Yeah. Promising as well. And we made one announcement last week. Brandon Morse will be joining us starting today at noon Eastern time. I get that right? Noon Eastern. A couple of other talents will be joining us in the coming couple of weeks. And I got to now go ahead and lay this out there. We have been...
You're not going to tell them that we're merging with the Daily Wire, are you?
No, nothing
Okay,
that good. No, we're going to tell them that today.
All right, good.
We're working on a deal to merge with the Dollar General Radio. Dollar General Radio. The radio they play in their stores. This is going to be, well, it's not for everybody here. It's mainly the employees hear it in the back room.
Yeah, in the break room.
In the bathrooms and that. So, and I'm not saying we're doing the deal. We're working on it. We're
These
working
things
on
are
a
complicated,
deal.
and you can't.
It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. It really
a lot of
doesn't.
moving parts and stuff like this. And again, egos getting involved with Matlock of that conservative cartel. Want to make sure that, I'm heard as well. And I'm like, dude, it's about the mission.
Right.
You know. So, again, I'm not saying we're doing it. I'm saying we're working on a deal to merge with Dollar General Radio. And if it goes through, we could possibly be heard in some of the employee bathrooms, in some of the Dollar Generals.
It's possible.
In West Virginia.
It is possible.
Parts of West Virginia.
Some.
So it's right there.
Yeah.
It's big, I'm telling you.
It's huge.
It helps us grow significantly.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, by the way?
I'm thrilled to be a part of an organization that can be so forward-looking that it takes the listeners and the investors' viewpoints into account.
I got an idea moving forward. And I'm just, again, you follow the leaders, right? You follow the people who get it, Brad, right?
Yes.
Here's what I'm proposing. You ready? We come up with a system. I mean, if 2 is good, right? 5's got to be better.
It has to be.
5 co-presidents. Boom. How about that?
5.
How about that?
Because then you have a tiebreaker.
Yes, exactly. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Make it
you don't want a tiebreaker.
About 4 or 6 even.
I say you do 6.
Hey, I want to be a co-president.
A co-president,
I want to be a co-president.
Please.
Can I be a co-president?
I don't even know if you can be the co-janitor.
Well,
I don't even know.
I mean, I want to stock shelves, though, at Dollar General. Can I do that?
Let me think here. What the hell? But that gives us 7. We're going to need an 8th.
Yeah, we are going to need an 8th.
MoJo General.
See?
Media.
I'm in. MoJo Media.
MoJo.
Dollar Tree Media.
General. Dollar MoJo Media.
And
it's a working title.
The woman around
TV.
the corner wanted to be a president too. Down the hall here.
Throw her in. I mean, it's bold. You got to do something different here. That's the way you do this thing.
Do they carpool to work every day? And I'm saying if we had 7 presidents, would they all carpool?
Maybe.
To work?
Could be. That could happen that way. So
that would be interesting.
All right. Well, good. Got that all cleaned up. We do have a significant announcement, another one coming up that I had been mentioning, and that will be very soon. We did just sign a contract, legitimately, and we have to wait to make sure.
We're waiting on the mutual execution of the
contract.
We're killing someone?
We can't say.
As
soon as the other side does it in front of the notary and gets us the whatever, it's pending. Our side's been signed. Their side is signed after they get it to the attorneys, and we'll go, and it'll be honestly, that'll be soon. We thought it'd been by this morning, but instead we just had to tell you about the possible deal with Dollar General, the pending deal.
And when did an attorney ever get something done ahead of time?
Right, exactly. So
come on.
All right. Wow. I'm glad we could talk about all that. And we do have some other communiques to get to in a couple of minutes. First, I want to remind you. We have time. We'll just do it on the other side. You got a communique you want to get to before we wrap this up?
Yeah, absolutely. TJ Toppin says, how about you guys start with a bigger desk? Merge with someone with a bigger desk. I'm telling you, it's the camera angle.
It's not the size of the desk. It's how you use it.
This thing is huge.
It's if you put out good content year after year without lying and misleading people.
Yes, that's not.
And you can prove it. That's what it's about. It's how you use your desk.
Desk lives matter. Absolutely.
Wow. Hey, guys, Ron Phillips from the Conservative Cartel. I want to tell you about a new weight loss product that's quickly becoming part of our MoJo 50 family. Okay, so it was launched by this Texas company who have taken the good stuff in olive oil and created a patented product that helps people control their appetite and lose weight. That's right. It's also a big help to keep the weight off. In a 6-year study of former contestants from The Biggest Loser, you remember that show? It showed that when you lose weight, your body actually thinks something bad has happened and it fights back by slowing your metabolism and boosting your appetite. Rid-U-Zone, that's R-I-D-U Zone, contains a patented ingredient that has been shown to boost metabolism and reduce appetite while helping you burn fat. If you are struggling every day with cravings, try Rid-U-Zone. It makes it so much easier to control your appetite and not think about food all day. That's my problem. For a short time, we have a 30% off deal for our show. Just go to riduzone.com and enter code MATT. That's M-A-T-T. Again, that's riduzone.com, RIDUZONE.com. Riduzone.
Doc Thompson, MoJo 50.
All right, here's the thing about shutting down the freeway. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I agree with you. I'm hitting you. I am running your ass over. I'm serious. You're on the freeway. And listen, prosecutors, if you want people prosecuted for running people over that are staging protests on highways, do not pick me to serve on your jury, because I don't care the circumstances. I don't care who's in the road for what protest reason. If you're in the highway, I am letting that person off. They could run the crowd over, back up, run them over again, get off at the next exit, loop around, and hit them again. And I am acquitting them. Sorry, were they on the highway? Sorry, you're free to go, sir. Have a good day, Mr. Staggs. You're free to go. I am not prosecuting you. I am not going to convict you for this stuff. If you don't want to be run over, don't walk in the highway. It's the highway. Yes.
The jackhole community never ceases to amaze me.
By the way, I had to jump ahead. I never understood how this worked. I thought, you just do things chronologically.
Right.
But as it turns out, I just wrote chapter 13, ironically. I just wrote 13 of the book. I'm just saying.
It's going to be quite a book.
Because I've gotten a rough outline.
Right.
And wrote number 1, the first chapter or whatever. And I'm kind of dancing on 2, whatever. And I'm like, got to jump ahead and write at least part of. I'm sure it'll evolve. But
that's the way all the greats do it. They don't write in a linear fashion. They jump around when they're inspired.
Wow.
And what you're going to have to do, and then the same goes with all the jackholes. I want you to be around for a long, long time. And you're going to have to be if you want to read the book as well, which is why it's so important.
It's a lot of stress involved in this and what we do. It's very stressful.
The leading cause of death in this country is life, first of all. And
wow, is it?
It really
Did it move up the list?
Yeah, it really has. It's moved way up the list. And
if we could just knock that off, we could eradicate death.
Yes, exactly. And
so if we killed everybody and got rid of all life, that would stop future deaths.
Yes, it would. Yes, it
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to do that, we're going to have to do a lot of research, which means in the meantime, we need to be around for a while. And if you want to be around for a while, you have to take care of your moving parts.
Everybody sounds so serious and definite. Is there any way we could just prolong people's lives?
If you just get rid of some stress, I think that might actually prolong your life.
I know heart disease is bad.
It is bad. I mean, some people like to have heart disease, but, really, it's not as much fun as it sounds.
No.
And if you want to prolong the good parts of life, if you want to make sure that you're doing as much as you can for your heart, there is a place that you need to go. And it might be tough to remember the name, because when you're trying to save your heart, you want to go to some place that, I don't know, would remind you to save your heart. So if you go to saveyourheart.com, that is where you'll find, well, not only suggestions, but great products too, like the Pauling Therapy Essentials Formula.
The who?
Pauling Therapy Essentials Formula. Now, Pauling Therapy was a philosopher who lived back in the 13th century, I
don't think that sounds right.
It may or may not be true, but the bottom line is this. If you take a look at the Pauling Therapy Essentials Formula, you will find that this is something that is actually good for you. It's something you could do that's good for your heart, because every day, when you get up and you have that stress and you're going to work and you're stressing out, you're doing bad things for your heart. So you have to balance that with something good. Go to saveyourheart.com and click on it's in about, halfway down, third of the way down the page. Click on the Pauling Therapy Essentials Formula and see what it's all about. Find out if this is something that could help you. It's helped a lot of people. And if you want to do something kind of like with your car, if you don't change the oil in your car, if you don't do regular maintenance on your car, one day you're going to get into that car and it's not going to do anything. And the same thing with your heart. If you don't do something good for your body, eventually one day it is going to crap out on you. Go to saveyourheart.com, see if this is something that you might like to try, because I think you just might like it. And remember, Dr. Pauling Therapy for years has recommended that you you try SaveYourHeart.com.
SaveYourHeart.com. Check it out today. All right, we got to get some more communiques as well. I know there's probably a lot of people with a lot of questions, and I wish we could make more of a definitive announcement today. Again, we were supposed to do it last week, but we just hate to promise things and then have to come back and say, oh, it didn't happen, whatever. But we just need to get the final paperwork signed on this pretty amazing event. It could be today. It could be at any moment. As soon as we do, we'll make the announcement on the air. And let me just say, it's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for anybody who believes in actual conservative content, actual libertarian conservative content.
B from the SAV says, is there a double agent in the conservative talk community progressively tearing down businesses over the span of decades?
Well, you'd think it. I mean, I don't know if there is, but if there is anybody, I could probably come up with a person. Maybe two.
Deuce 5, social justice, Xmas songs, we three cisgender non-patriarchal beings. That's a good one.
You were really trying to make that work melodically, weren't you?
Yeah, see. Nope, can't read that one. Nope, can't read that one.
Maybe we just move on.
It's probably a good idea. Yeah,
no other comments?
Well, I'm trying to.
Well, I just noticed a couple people wanting more details on this proposed conservative media merger.
I did one more. I Shellback naked in the bathtub. Wow. When it comes to co-presidents, the cartel Ron counts as two. I hadn't really thought about that.
I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't either.
Here's the thing. If you're looking for more details, you just have to wait. With all this stuff. I mean, you get some of it now. A lot of times things aren't accurate when they first come out.
That's true.
I would just say wait for the Daily Beast article. See if there's more details that come out there or anywhere else, or just time will tell. By the way, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Oh, is he back? Good. And we have our Al Sharpton translator here.
Is it working? It's not working.
There you have to go.
Okay, we have the Reverend Al Sharpton communicator.
There we go.
He has found a buyer for his life story. Because I told you I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
He's writing one apparently of his life story.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Guess who he found?
Who?
Himself.
Is he going to pay himself for his own story?
Well, his nonprofit is going to pay him for his life story.
That's funny how that works, isn't it? Isn't that interesting?
Thank God for Al Sharpton.
Yes.
Because if not for Al Sharpton, I know the only shadier person, the person that rivals him. Al is the most shady person. Thank God for some people I know.
Yes.
Because otherwise they would be the shadiest people. The Reverend Al Sharpton has found the National Action Network as a buyer for his life story for a 10-year period, by the way.
His life story for... wait a minute. So
I think it's one of those where you have... NAN, National Action Network, would have 10 years to produce it into something.
Okay, I got you. So they're just buying the rights to a story for a period of 10 years, and then if they haven't done anything with it, then they the rights can be sold to somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's how it is.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Now, let's say the National Action Network, who was so interested in telling Al Sharpton's story,
yes.
They say, you know what? We paid Al, and we don't have enough money to produce this into a movie yet.
Right.
Let's try to raise some money over the next... it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to give up the rights or renew the rights.
Well, but wait a minute. That would just put more money in Al Sharpton's pocket.
So, that'd be good for him. But
but it just seems that that would seem to be kind of a scam kind of thing.
Wow.
On his part. Wow. That's what it looks like from the outside looking in.
Do you want to know what his life story is worth?
Yes. I mean, I know what I would pay.
$531.
That's
$531,000.
$531,000.
Over $500,000 for a story that will likely never be told.
Well, if this is a 10-year option, though, I'll have to say over the period of 10 years, that's only about 50 grand a year. How in the world is Al Sharpton going to live on 50 grand a year?
Well, here's it. Well, hold it. Because that's just for the rights of his life story.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the National Action Network pays him a salary.
How much do they, do we know how much?
Yes.
Oh.
$164,000 a year. Is that a lot of money?
That is comfortable depending upon where you're living. No, you know.
I'm joking. It's $200,000 a year.
Okay, so
is that a lot of money?
Depending upon where you're living,
$240 for $661,000. Oh, $244,661 a year.
Okay, that's decent money. I mean, you could get a nice, modest house.
So with the $50,000 a year, if you spread it out for 10 years, then he's making almost $300,000 a year off of Nan.
I could stretch that.
Of course.
That
well, I mean. It's not like he's going to pay for his own pens or car trips or
that's true.
Or food. I mean, there's got to be a budget in there somewhere for stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're trying to stretch $300,000, you cannot be paying for your own stuff. I mean, that's just for the necessities of life, food and shelter. Clothing.
So, yeah, that is true. And that doesn't include the money that he has made over the years personally suing people. Or even like his daughter, who personally sued the city of New York.
Did she make any money on that?
Yeah, I think she did. If you look it up, I think she tripped over a sidewalk.
Oh, good for. I mean, that's horrible to hear that she tripped. I'm sure she was okay. I mean, I hope she was okay.
And I think there's something, if I'm going back from memory here, she has something with her travel budget that is either through Nan or through her own charity. His daughter has nonprofit. His daughter has her own nonprofit that it's kind of in the model of the Clinton Foundation.
Oh,
where it's
so you mean crooked? Did I say that? I didn't.
I was going to say that it's there just to provide travel expenses for the founder.
Out loud? Did I use my outside voice?
I don't think so.
By the way, Al Sharpton's daughter sued the city after she fell and sprained her ankle. This is serious.
Yes.
How can you make fun of this? She sprained her ankle on the street in New York, and she sued them for $5 million.
Did she get any? I'll bet they settled out for 20 grand or something.
That does not say.
Folks, I am not kidding here. If you want quick cash, I'm not saying to be unscrupulous, do anything illegal, but if you want quick cash, sue the city of New York or the New York Police Department.
That's interesting.
They settle. They settle a lot. You can go through. I think they have budgeted like tens of millions of dollars just for lawsuits every year.
Wow, that's like
seriously.
The Department of Justice is going to just like throw out millions of dollars and grant money.
Think about how foolish this is. A buddy of mine and I were walking in the city of New York years ago. A buddy that I'll call Skip.
Okay.
Because his name is Skip. We're doing some work and walking down the street. And it's summertime. We have shorts on, walking down, and it's crowded. And he leans against, walks closer to a building at one point, to avoid people, and brushes his leg ever so gently up against one of those. I guess it's essentially a fire hydrant that sticks out of the building, the hookups.
Yes, the fire department.
Is that whatever that is for? And just brushes against it, and it had a sharp edge, and he cut the hell out of his leg. I mean, you stand on the street and it's just pouring blood.
Right.
So he had to stop and get something, whatever, went about his business. And then we find out people have sued for that exact incident.
And made some cash?
Oh, quick, easy. 10 grand, 15 grand like that.
I need to go to New York.
So I'm saying, and I was like,
wow.
It's there for...
How much did Skip make?
None.
You mean he didn't sue?
He did not sue.
What a wuss.
I think I got to change. I'm too nice stuff. I got to start suing.
I'm thinking the statute of limitations hasn't run out on that yet, and he probably has PTSD from the experience.
Well, I do seeing it.
Oh, I can imagine, because I mean,
look, I remembered it, didn't I?
You'd be the first responder. You were the first responder in this case.
Do first responders usually go, come on, suck it up, let's go, we got stuff to do?
Some of them do.
In that case, then I was a first responder.
Some of them do.
Here's the napkin.
Yeah.
Clean yourself up.
Stick it to or as I do, just use duct tape to clamp it together.
I say that to the hookers, too. Here's the napkin. Clean yourself up.
Right.
So, speaking of the National Action Network, do you know what they're worth?
Oh, gosh. They got to be worth at least half, $750,000. The
nonprofit founded by Al Sharpton took in revenue. This would be its most recent tax filings of 2014. A couple years behind there.
All right.
$6.3 million.
I'm sorry. I thought you said.
No. There was last year. $6.3 million. The year before, 5.8.
What is that? Where do they get their money?
From Walmart and PepsiCo and Ford and Toyota. These are all companies that sponsored him.
So what this is hush money, so he won't sue them. That's what that is.
And there it is. Folks, this is how it works. Al Sharpton finds some minor issue, if that, in order that would make a company look bad in today's world. Wait a minute. They fired somebody of color, blah, 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 something that has a little bit of traction, even if the person deserved it, even if there's no racism. But all he does is claim racism. It has to be just enough to get people upset, something just enough to be believable. And then he goes and he will picket, protest, start an online campaign. And these companies with huge, budgets, sales.
Yep.
They can't have this. So they say, what's he going to take? And they give him $75,000.
And in return,
$150,000.
He agrees to
go away.
Yeah.
Now,
it's what we call the cost of doing business.
Right. And here's how they position it. They say, well, we've decided to give Al Sharpton, $100,000 to give to people of colors charities or charities for diversity, blah, blah, blah. Right. And also the National Action Network, $100,000. That's how they do it. For a company that has sales of, $600 million or $1.2 billion, when you get up to those numbers to say $75,000 a year,
right?
It's like buying an insurance policy. It's the cost of doing business.
Yes, it is.
To keep Al away. Yeah. And that's what he does. That's how it works. So when you buy a car, when you buy something, whatever, it's spread out over all of the things you and everybody else buys a year, but you're paying for all of this stuff.
Oh yeah. It's built in. Yeah, you when you bought a Toyota, it was your power seats, your heated seats, your air conditioning, and Al Sharpton pay off.
It might be 0.5 cent on every, $268,000 that you're paying, but you are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You definitely are. Everything gets passed right on down to the end user.
If you want to deal with the nonprofit that actually makes sense, actually helps people, check out Dog Tag Furniture. Dog Tag Furniture does a great job. It's not threatening people over claims of discrimination that don't exist. Dog Tag Furniture was founded to help bury veterans so their family members don't get a $10,000 burial fee or expense.
Right. Which is, again, every time I hear that, it is stunning to me that when you take veterans who have done, in many cases, given the ultimate sacrifice, made the ultimate sacrifice, and we stick them with their own funeral expenses.
Well, even if you say, well, Doc, come on, they're private citizens, 25 years, they should pay for their own. Okay, you know what? I'll absolutely give you that. You're right, except two things. Number one, it would be nice to help veterans anyway.
Yes, it would be.
But number two, if we had been taking care of them for those 25 years since they've been out, or 10 years or whatever, I would absolutely say where they have what they need, go to the VA. These people spend more time and money and crap dealing with the VA.
Yes.
Come on. If we had done everything across the board, and you'd say, well, they can take care of this thing on their own or whatever, fine, but they don't. Right. So please go to dogtagfurniture.com or .org, dogtagfurniture.com. Check out their beautiful wooden flags. These are really cool. They look great on the wall. They're a great gift. You can give a couple of them for Christmas.
And if you have a business, you might be able to work a little deal with Troy and the logo, because he puts his logo on
Down
some
in
of
the
these, puts other companies' logos. We saw one on Fox and Friends that had the Fox and Friends logo on it. So if you have a company you'd like to do something good for veterans and maybe give out some employee gifts, this could be the way to do it.
How about this one? How about you buy a flag? Let's say you're a business or a nonprofit even in your area. And you want to do something nice to help the veterans. Go and buy a flag for whatever it is, a couple $100, something like that. You put that as a raffle to raise money. And you tell everybody we're going to raffle this flag off. It's $4 each or whatever, $2, $10, $50.
Yeah.
Everybody throw this in. You're likely going to raise more money than the flag.
Yes.
And you can just donate that back. So you purchase the flag, right? And whatever money you make off of it, you donate it back. So if everybody throws $2 in the kitty and you get 500 people in there, it's $1,000, boom, and you just give that back to them.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
See, now that's using your thinking cap. You've got your thinking cap on this morning. Good for you.
If I could only do that in a way where I benefited from that money more than the veterans, I could work for Nan.
I'm working on that.
Okay, good deal. So is it the megaphone? Maybe I just need a megaphone.
That could be it. That maybe a snappier dresser. Because I will give it to the Reverend. He is a snappy dresser. He looks good in those duds.
He looks better than the parachute suits.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember the jogging suits? Well, I miss fat jogging suit Al Sharpton. He just doesn't look right now.
He looks sharp. He looks dapper.
The medallions back in the Tawana Brawley claiming things happened to her that didn't really happen. Man, those were good days.
Yeah.
I miss the 80s. Good stuff.
Was it that long ago?
It really was.
When did we get old?
Right. Oh, by the way, one quick announcement. Since Matlock is here, so what have we determined for the Right On game? What are we playing?
That's a great question.
We're hoping for the
supposed
answer.
to have answers to that, but are we going to do it a week from Thursday now? Is that what we're planning?
That would be up for debate tomorrow, yes.
You know, he has a career as a politician.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's still
I would
very
just like to say
non-committal.
I put my full support behind what could be possibly one of the greatest
possible
non-events of our life, and we'll have more information.
Well, now that you've hit me with this 5 minutes before my show.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you played the Right On game?
I have not played the Right On game.
Because I don't want any ringers here. I don't want any ringers here.
Oh, well.
I want us all at the same skill level.
There's a running bet of who between you and I is going to win, and I think it's Brad Staggs.
I don't know nothing. I'm such a horrible game player.
Get details at rightongame.com. It's, what is the slogan?
Oh, because mocking the left feels so right.
Right On Game, and you get 10% off if you use the promo code MoJo50. MoJo50 at rightongame.com. Very soon, we are going to play in a drunken stupor some night for additional content.
And don't forget to give it as a gift and have your phone have the video recording, because when you start to play it with people who don't know,
it's going to be good.
It's going to be
and I'm going to need that kind of content. Yeah. I'm going to need that. Yes, it's rightongame.com.
What do you mean it's let's go?
All righty, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, the end of your Daily Mojo. But before we go, as always, let's find out. We learned financially it is better to get murdered via a gun than choke on sushi at the Carnival World Buffet.
You know, it sounds counterintuitive, but it really does make sense when you think about it.
Yes. Yes, that is absolutely right. Yeah. We also learned financially it is better to have a shady nonprofit and sue the city of New York.
Yeah, it sounds counterintuitive, but you know, it's actually true when you think about it.
We learned that bold people try bold things. Doesn't always work.
No, it does not.
But I encourage them trying.
I just like to watch a lot.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, it is. So many things.
I cannot tell you how much gold is coming, but I know it's a lot.
Yep.
And it is going to be fabulous.
Gonna need some wheelbarrows.
Let's just move on. Brad Staggs, what, if anything, did you learn so far today?
So far, I've learned the price of covering up a national murder conspiracy is just under $20 million. Just saying. I learned the difference between self-pleasuring and self-adjustment sounds like this. And I learned that by process of elimination, apparently I am the stooge to which Doc referred.
No, you're not the stooge either. You're the stooge here, but you're not the lackey that I was talking about before. Everyone knows who that is. Come on.
Every time you
figure it out.
You say lackey, I think of breastfeeding. Why is that?
No, that's lactation. Let's just move on.
Okay, we're moving
Is
on.
that it?
That's it. That's all. That's all. Well, actually, I did learn that a breast is a breast is a breast, unless it's a man's breast in Chicago.
And then it may be a man's breast, or it could be a woman's breast. Could be a breast that identifies as something else.
Don't stare at his nipples. That's all I'm going to say.
Bradley J. Staggs, what, if anything, did the listeners learn thus far today?
Well, over on the Facebook, Felicity learned that everything she ever wanted to know about life, I learned from Brad and Doc: drugs, porn, politics, which is the same thing, drinking, and most of all, honesty about the dead.
At least from the politicians, you just have to lay there and take it.
Yes, that's true. Over in the MeWe chat room.
I love your Muddy Buddies, by the way.
Thank you. You'll get the bill. You should try my Butterfinger. Over in the MeWe chat room, let's see here. If I eliminate the porn, you can't read any of them.
Maybe just move on.
No, except for Architectural's 3D Pixel Pro. I was hit over the back of the head with a gun and mugged in college 20 years ago. I've never been quite the same. DOJ, where's my check?
You weren't murdered in Las Vegas. You're not getting it. It wasn't a high-profile gun murder.
See? Basically, you did it wrong.
Not like me and my scars from seeing Skip get injured.
Right? Exactly. All that blood. So much blood. Over
on... It was a little bit of blood. I mean, it was a lot.
So much blood. It
Very
was
upsetting.
Pouring down the street. Are you kidding? Because you're going to need to cut me in. TJ Toppin learned, how about you guys start with a bigger desk? We've already talked about that one. Shellback bow. No, we said that.
Are these Twitter?
These are Twitter. Fine. I'm getting to Twitter because Lord knows I do not want to hear about it the rest of the day. Cordy taint pucked up. What I learned today, apparently Uncle Sam thinks he works for Banyan Hill. Do you like freedom? I do. Do you like other people's money? Well, I do too. You know, you can never go wrong with the classics. Cordy taint.
What was that guy's name?
Cordy taint pucked up.
No, from Banyan Hill.
Oh, Ricky. Remember Ricky from Banyan Hill?
Yeah, I think Ricky's going to be one of our co-presidents now.
Well, yeah, you know what I will say? He is uniquely qualified.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. He already has the co-presidency position. You like mergers? I do.
Oh, well, Larky Farkin learned, is it just me, or does it seem that some women are proportionally as loud as they are big?
Yeah, it is. It's like that.
You know, I think Freddie Mercury said it best. Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Which is ironic coming from Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, because he was a homotype sexual.
Actually, I think well, you haven't seen the movie yet, have you? I won't say
What
a word.
movie?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
There's a movie? Wow. I know the song.
We need to talk.
Who did the song?
Queen. And the movie Bohemian Rhapsody is about Queen.
I thought it was about Freddie Mercury.
He's in Queen. That's all. They're all kind of merged.
Wow, this is
it's a
blowing me away
merger.
here.
And let's be frank, in Pennsylvania, finally learned. Have you seen my Brad Staggs? Have you seen my forklift? Every time Food Biz Pro visits the studio, see what he did there? He took the forklift and made it a fork lifting food.
I see what he did there.
Yes.
And also kind of a fat thing, which is funny. Hey, I
Wait a
just
minute,
realized I didn't get to the new numbers on procrastination. The good news is, well, let's do them tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll just do them tomorrow.
Yep, that gives us something to do tomorrow. Yeah.
I have to get to sign off from the now 16 co-presidents, but
well, that could take some time.
But
yes,
likely it'll be tomorrow. I don't want to overextend myself there. What does Matlock have coming up on his broadcast?
Oh my goodness! You know that thing that he said he couldn't talk about?
Is he going to talk about it?
He usually does, and I think he's going to talk about that. He just gave me the high sign. There was was he telling me to do something?
And what is
different?
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I guess that's all.
Yeah.
All right, that is it. Your Daily Mojo, remember, is today
Ron
Phillips. Production.
There you go.
Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Mhm.
Good night, Steve Cannon.
Wherever you
are. Anya, now you go home.
Oh, by the way, I just got an email from Steve Cannon. He also wants to be a co-president.
Oh, sure, why not?
We'll
By the
bring
way,
him
you
in.
know what Sic Semper Tyrannis means? Thus always to tyrants.